Live from the soccer complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching coverage of the 13th Women's CUNYAC Women's Soccer Finals right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon, the College of Staten Island goes for their 8th CUNYAC title in the 13th year of this prestigious CUNYAC tournament. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babuski along with Joe Foreman and Joe for the College of Staten Island. It was a big 2-1 win against CCNY in the semifinal game, a game we had for you right here on CSI Sportsnet that propelled the Dolphins into their third opportunity to win the CUNYAC championship in a row. Big game here today for the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins really made the most of their opportunities against CCNY. In the first game against the Beavers during the regular season, the Dolphins put 43 shots toward goal, 22 of those on goal. So a huge shot total for the Dolphins in their regular season tie with the Beavers. And then the other day in the CUNYAC tournament game, the semifinals matchup, the Dolphins only took 17 shots, 7 of those on goal, but 2 of them found the back of the net. The Dolphins really did a great job making the most of their chances, keeping pressure on the Beavers throughout the entire game. A good game in goal from Catherine Langkamp of CCNY wasn't enough. The Beavers only 4 shots, 3 of them on goal. It was Gabrielle Duchossi, their leading goal scorer, who came through late and cut the deficit in half, 2-1, but the Dolphins were able to hold on after a last-second flurry by the Beavers, and with that victory, they advance into the CUNYAC championship today.
Yeah, and they'll face a Lehman College team that advanced into the finals here. The Dolphins playing Lehman College earlier this year on the road at Lehman and coming away with a 2-0 victory. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about both teams here today, Joe, during this extended pregame we're going to have for you. But, Joe, a familiar place for the College of Staten Island. You know, they seem to be in the finals every single year. They have been in the finals every year since 2009, and they're now going for their third consecutive CUNYAC championship under head coach Giuseppe Panetti. So this program has been very strong, very consistent in the CUNYAC conference, and they're looking to continue that here this afternoon.
And a testament to their strength against the CUNYAC conference is how well they did really against every team in that conference this year in terms of goals allowed. CCNY to this point in the season is the only CUNYAC team to score a goal against the Dolphins. They've scored 3 goals against CSI this season, 2 in the regular season matchup, a 2-2 tie, and then 1 in the semifinals round game just a couple of days ago. And if the Dolphins can keep that number standing as it was during the regular season, not allowing a goal to any team except CCNY, they will win the CUNYAC championship here today. And against Lehman College during the regular season, you mentioned the Dolphins picked up a 2-0 victory. Another example of the Dolphins really making the most of their chances. A goal in the 3rd minute by Elizabeth Aparicio gave the Dolphins a lead that they would not relinquish. Only 8 shots for CSI on the game, 4 of them on goal, but they put 2 goals up on the scoreboard, and only a single goal was enough in that game, a 2-0 victory in which they only allowed 4 shots, 2 on goal for the Lightning. So the Dolphins' defensive pressure really showed up in that game, and on the attack, they made the most of their chances. If they can do that here again today, there's no reason to believe that they can't win this game.
Yeah, and that was the game, Joe, where Elizabeth Aparicio scored 2 goals, both goals for the Dolphins, both on headers off of corner kicks, as the Dolphins were able to go on the road and win that game against Lehman College. And, you know, Joe, the way the Dolphins have been playing here late in the season, they've been playing very good soccer. They've been getting good play in goal here. And, you know, one thing about this team is the goal scoring is spread out among a great number of different players.
And you mentioned the strong finish to the season for the Dolphins, outscoring opponents 19-0, as we mentioned during the pregame a couple of days ago. That's how they closed out the 2017 regular season. But you also mentioned a number of contributors on the Dolphins roster. Nicole Mignon leading the way with 8 goals on the season, but a trio of Dolphins also have 4 goals, those being Daniela Zerpolo, Victoria Sanchez, and Brittany Bornstad. Several other Dolphins adding 3 goals. So the Dolphins have gotten contributions from top to bottom on their roster, and they really don't seem to lose much on the attack when substitutes begin to come into the game. Giuseppe Panetti has managed the roster turnover that we saw this year very well. We mentioned mentioned earlier this season how I believe it was 3 Dolphins goal scorers who scored in the CUNYAC championship last year are no longer with the team. So the Dolphins really doing a great job of managing a large number of players that did not return. The roster turnover did not seem to be an issue for them in 2017.
And the College of Staten Island looking to continue their strong play at home, Joe, this year. As the team has really played extremely well at home and undefeated in the CUNYAC conference once again, having just that one tie against CCNY. So Dolphins coming in to today's game, as we mentioned, Joe, really playing very strong, and they're going to face a Lehman College team that's coming in with a bit of momentum as well, as they went on the road and played John Jay and, picked up 2 first-half goals, one by Pamela Sanchez, the second by Lillian Barreto, and they were able to take those 2 first-half goals and parlay that into a 2-0 win. So Lehman able to go on the road and really come off with a little bit of an upset against John Jay to advance to the finals here this afternoon.
And that 2-0 victory for Lehman College over the Bloodhounds of John Jay avenges a 1-0 defeat at the hands of the Bloodhounds during the regular season. You mentioned the goal scorers, Pamela Sanchez and Lillian Barreto, but the big number in that game, once again, we go back to it so often, the shot total, the Lightning outshooting the Bloodhounds 13-3, but of those 13 shots, Lehman College put 12 of them on goal, and that's something that they'll, of course, be looking to do here against the Dolphins. Also limiting opportunities for CSI may prove to be a difficult task, but against John Jay, as I just mentioned, the Lightning only allowed 3 shots, 2 of them on goal. If they can put as many shots, or I should say as large of a percentage of their shots on goal as they did, 12 out of 13 against John Jay, and limit CSI to as few shots on goal as the Bloodhounds, then that's a good recipe for success for Lehman College here against the Dolphins today in this CUNYAC championship final.
And for Lehman College, it'll be Rebecca Gritz in goal. Gritz playing every minute of every game for Lehman College this year, so she matches their 4-7 and 1 record on the season. So it'll be Gritz in goal, a freshman goalkeeper, and listed in your program at only 4'11", Joe. And we'll see how Lehman is able to compensate for the small amount in goal. And looking at the Lightning statistics this year, Joe, they've outscored their opponents 48-35. So they have been able to score goals. They're led by Daisy Gomez, is 11 goals, and Daniela Castro has 10. Lillian Barreto, of course, a veteran player in the CUNYAC conference, also having another strong year, finishing with 7 goals and 5 assists. So, Lehman College does come in with some plays offensively that are certainly capable of doing some damage.
Absolutely, Mike. And as I take a look here at the Lightning roster, you just mentioned a couple of players with a lot of goals scored. I see 4 players here with at least 7 goals scored. Only 1 Dolphin has scored more than 7 goals, that being Nicole Mignon. So a lot of offensive firepower on this Lightning team, but that was also the case for CCNY, a team that came in here 2 days ago, as I've already mentioned several times. The Beavers, the only team to score against the Dolphins this season. They averaged, I believe it was about 4.5 goals per game in the regular season. You mentioned that was 5th in the nation. So the Lightning come in averaging about 2.7 goals per game. The Dolphins hopefully could have an easier time slowing them down, given that they're less of an attacking force, but still a very formidable opponent. As I've just mentioned, 4 players with at least 7 goals on the season, those being Melanie Surinola, Lillian Barreto, Daniela Castro, and Daisy Gomez. So again, a lot of firepower on the attack for the Lightning. It will be a tough task for the Dolphins to slow them down, but they've proven that they can do so against the CUNYAC Conference this year.
And Joe, we're hoping to get head coach Giuseppe Panetti on before the opening touch, if we can arrange it. And Panetti's been with the team now, Joe, 3 years, and so far his record is 37-15-4, and that's nearly 70% win percentage. And he's won the CUNYAC championship in both years he's been here, with an opportunity to make it 3 out of 3. So Panetti's been doing a great job here for the Dolphins.
He absolutely has, and I mentioned it before. He's done a great job managing the roster turnover this year. A lot of the Dolphins' leading goal scorers from last year did not return, and this year they didn't miss a beat. They started off the season very strong, slowed down a bit around the midway point, but then picked it up to close the season. We mentioned that 19-0 goal differential to wrap up the 2017 regular season, and Giuseppe Panetti deserves a lot of credit for that. Also, we've mentioned roster contribution from top to bottom. The Dolphins have been getting contributions from all of the players on their roster. The substitutes come in, and this team doesn't slow down on the attack. They don't let up. defensively and exert pressure on the opposition from really start to finish each and every game, both on defense and on the attack. Head coach Giuseppe Panetti deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, and of course, Joe, immediately following this game will be the men's soccer final here this afternoon. And why don't we take a break and step aside here for just a minute, and then we'll be back with head coach Giuseppe Panetti in about 2 minutes or so as you're watching women's 2017 CUNYAC women's final coverage right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
We want you to be proud.
We're back, and we're joined now by women's head soccer coach Giuseppe Panetti. And coach, for the third year in a row, you're going for the CUNYAC championship today. The team coming off of a big 2-1 win against CCNY earlier this week. How do you feel going into the championship game?
The ladies, the coaching staff, and myself feel very confident. We're honored and fortunate to be hosting it this year at CSI, and we see it as a challenge to keep the trophy where it belongs at home.
And, Coach, earlier this year you had a game against Lehman College. You won that game 2-0, 2 headers in that game off of corner kicks. So the team playing very well, only allowing goals against CCNY this year. How do you plan to combat that potent Lehman College offense here this afternoon?
That's a good point. They do have a very good, formidable two-headed monster up front and a two-headed monster in the center mid. We're going to stick to our game plan that's worked all year long. We're going to high pressure them and attack them with their speed of play, flank attack. We're going to make them play our game, and we're just going to continuously attack wave after wave. And then it becomes a game of, do you want to run with us, and do you want to mark us for an entire field for 90 minutes? If not, eventually the goals are going to come for us.
And for the Dolphins coach, freshman Kayla DiBenedetto in goal, and the Lehman College going with freshman goalkeeping as well. How do you feel the way Kayla's played goal this year for the Dolphins?
Well, I've been fortunate. I have 2 freshman goalies, Kayla and Mariah, and they push each other and they complement each other on and off the field. They're good friends. We had a very difficult schedule this year versus the Montclairs, the NYUs. And even though we came up on the short end in those matches, it was a great learning experience for Kayla and Mariah, where they can handle the pressure now. We're in a big game against a top opponent where, one mistake really does always indicate which way the game's going to go in a win or loss. They're ready for it. And Kayla, I know right now she's having a great warm-up, and she's looking forward to hoisting that trophy right now.
Coach, thanks for coming on before the game. Good luck this afternoon against Lehman College, and we hope to see you advance into the NCAA tournament for the third consecutive year.
Your words are God's ears. Thank you so much, Mike. Have a good one, sir.
That's head coach Giuseppe Panetti, nice enough to come on and join us here right on the air. And, we mentioned that Panetti coming in with a record of 37, 15, and 4, a 70% winning percentage, Joe. And, after speaking to the head coach, you could feel that the team is coming in pretty confident and ready to roll this afternoon against a formidable Lehman College opponent.
And they have good reason to come in with confidence here this morning. The Dolphins, again, we've mentioned it several times already, their success in the regular season against the CUNYAC Conference, and I also mentioned their success against Lehman College this year, a 2-0 victory over the Lightning, the lone meeting between these two teams during the 2017 regular season. And as for the rest of the CUNYAC Conference, they did not allow a goal to any team except CCNY. The Dolphins look to keep that up today, and if they do, as I've already mentioned several times, they will come away CUNYAC champions.
So we're just about 6.5 minutes or so before we get ready for the introductions and the start of this afternoon's game. And, Joe, when we talk about this Dolphin team, and we should talk a little bit about the amount of turnover that you want to talk about with this women's soccer team. A lot of players leaving the team last year, and the question was going to be, where were the goals going to come from, and what was the goaltending going to be like, and having to replace a lot of established players, and the Dolphins really have played very well this year and really have moved seamlessly from one set of leadership to another.
They have, and again, head coach Giuseppe Panetti deserves a lot of credit for that. And as I take a look here at the roster from last year, players such as Christina Rodriguez, Jennifer Casenza, Krista Anson, among just some that left this team in 2017. And Nicole Mignon making the move from goal to the attack position as well has been huge for the Dolphins. She leads them in goals and has really been able to do everything that they've asked of her. That's been a big part of the Dolphins able to maintain their continuity from last year and into this year in terms of goal scoring and production on the attack. And the players on the roster this year, some other new faces as well, have made major contributions on this team here in 2017. And again, those contributions from top to bottom, a big part of the reason why the Dolphins find themselves in the position that they are here today in the CUNYAC Finals.
Yeah, and as we take a look at the Dolphins lineup here as we get ready to start the game here this afternoon, no real surprises, Joe, in the lineup for the Dolphins. Really the lineup that you'd expect them to come out with today. And, they'll be anchored by Catherine Mulligan in the back. And, of course, Mulligan, winding down her great career as a Dolphin, the CUNYAC Defensive Player of the Year last year, and one of 4 Dolphins to make the CUNYAC All-Stars here in 2017 as well.
And she's been a huge part of that Dolphins defensive back that has been stout from start to finish in 2017. The Dolphins have done a great job limiting the opportunities from opponents, really from opening kickoff this year all the way through the season. The Dolphins defense, a big part of why they find themselves here today. And as I just take a moment here to look at the numbers for the Dolphins defensively this year, I'll pull those up. And I have them right here. Their goals allowed per game down at around 1.2, only 22 goals allowed in 2017, and that number is through 18 games, so a great number there for the Dolphins as well. The opponents against the Dolphins also only getting 7 shots per game, and shots on goal even less than that. So the Dolphins have done a tremendous job in limiting opportunities for the opposition. I mentioned that they were able to do that earlier this season as well against the Lightning, only allowing 4 shots, and again the other day against CCNY in that game only allowing 4 shots as well. If the Dolphins can continue to do that and limit their opponents to single-digit shots, they only need to do it one more time here this year.
And, Joe, as we get ready for the start of this afternoon's game, we should mention, there's a lot of other CUNYAC action going around here. CSI, the swimming team in action this afternoon against FDU Florham, both the men's and women's team coming in with a record of 1-1. So they look to break level here this afternoon. And, the women's cross-country championships will now have been rescheduled and will take place next week, and they will be at Van Cortlandt Park. And, we would be remiss to not mention what a great job the women's tennis team did this year, advancing into the CUNYAC semifinals before really dropping a heartbreaking loss 5-4 against John Jay. So, a great job by our buddy Arthur Capaneris, our engineer here this afternoon, coaching that team. And, that women's Dolphins tennis team continues to build. So lots of other CUNYAC championship action going on in addition to women's soccer here this afternoon.
Well, I was actually here last night for the swim meet against Brooklyn College, both the men and women, of course, participating in that. And the women won handily. I believe the final was around maybe like 120-60 for the women, but the men's meet was much closer. Of course, both meets, or one meet, taking place all at the same time, men and women, but the men much closer. And that was a very entertaining meet at times. Some of the relays were extremely close and came down to the wire. It gets very loud there around the pool area when you have both teams cheering on the competitors in the pool. So an entertaining meet last night, both the men and women coming away with victories, as you mentioned, to level the records at 1-1. They look to break level, as you said, here today in a meet that will take place at the same time that this CUNYAC women's soccer final takes place here at the CSI Soccer Complex.
So we see our first bit of activity here this afternoon as the ladies come out to midfield and we get ready to have the opening toss, and we're just a couple of minutes away, Joe. And, for this Dolphin team, an interesting mix of veterans and new players, but very experienced in the back, Joe.
Of course, and that's a big part of the reason why the Dolphins find that goals allowed average down so low. Players in the back, such as Caitlin Russo, Catherine Mulligan, and Elizabeth Aparicio, along with Rebecca Deloya, the four Dolphins backs, are names that we've said so many times during our broadcasts and calls of the game here this season. They've always seemed to be so active, and especially Rebecca Deloya and Elizabeth Aparicio, goal scoring, and really everyone there. Caitlin Russo as well has gotten on the scoreboard this season. I believe had a 2 or 3 goal game earlier in 2017. So contributions not only defensively from those players, but on the attack as well, overlapping from those back positions and putting shots on goal and putting shots in the back of the net as well at times. I mentioned Russo had 3 goals, and I believe all of those may have came in one game this season for Caitlin. Also, I mentioned Elizabeth Aparicio, scored this season. You mentioned the 2-goal game that she had earlier this year. That game came against Lehman College, a game that we recapped earlier in the pregame, and just contributions across the board. Time and time again, I've said it, but that's been a recurring theme for the Dolphins so far here in 2017. If they get that here today, they should come away with the victory.
And, Joe, one of the things that has been the strength of this Dolphin team all season long has really been the amount of depth that this team has. 20 different players have scored goals for the Dolphins this year. And, really there have been times we remember this Dolphin team coming out with 14, 15 players on the roster. And, you certainly have a lot more options when you have a lot more players at your disposal.
Of course you do. And they've also had options in goals so far this season as well. The Dolphins have played 3 goalkeepers so far, but the majority of the play has been by Mariah Jones and Kayla DiBenedetto. Not only have the position players done a great job for the Dolphins, but they've gotten solid play in goal as well. DiBenedetto made a huge save at the end of the semifinals game off of a rebound or a point-blank range shot that turned into a rebound, and I believe the rebound was fired wide. So DiBenedetto made an initial save on a shot from very close range, point-blank range, a very dangerous opportunity for the Beavers. She turned it aside, and then the rebound went wide, and that's how the game came to an end, with a flurry of chances by CCNY, who possessed the ball deep in the penalty area right in front of the CSI goal, but the Dolphins were able to stave off that last onslaught and come away with the victory, due in large part to the play of Kayla DiBenedetto in goal. She'll be in goal once again here this morning. Also, Mariah Jones, I mentioned, has played goalkeeper for the Dolphins so far this season as well and had a solid campaign of her own, saving 70% of the shots she faced and allowing just over 1.5 goals per game.
And, Joe, one thing that this CSI Dolphin team has been able to do is get a lot of shots. They might not all go on goal, but this is a team that's averaging 17.5 shots a game. And, that's a lot of shots. And, one of the things the Dolphins weren't quite able to do against CCNY was get that big third goal that could have really opened things up. But, this team does have the ability, and the big thing about this team is they don't allow a lot of goals.
Well, I mentioned that Catherine Langkamp for CCNY in that last game did a great job of turning the Dolphins aside on some high-quality chances. Not all of them were on goal, but when the Dolphins did put shots in between the pipes, Langkamp just seemed to be there at every opportunity in the second half. The Dolphins, as you mentioned, couldn't break through, and pick up that third goal. Most of those opportunities also came with the Dolphins leading 2-0. And if you pick up that third goal, you really dash the hopes of the Beavers at that point. But CCNY stayed with it, gave effort from start to finish, and their leading goal scorer, Gabrielle Duchossi, broke through, cut the deficit in half for CCNY, but the Dolphins defense was able to hold. Kayla DiBenedetto, as I mentioned before, a huge save, and the Dolphins advance into the championship here today as the starters for Lehman College are being introduced on the field.
So we're just moments away from this 13th women's final matchup between the College of Staten Island and Lehman College. The College of Staten Island going for their 8th championship and their 3rd in a row. So as the starters are being introduced out on the field, why don't we bring you the starting lineups for today's game? And here to bring you those starting lineups, my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. Joe?
All right, thank you, Mike. I'll begin with the goalkeeper for the Lightning, number 1, Rebecca Gritz, and the rest of the Lehman College starting lineup in numerical order. Number 2, Gredia Sanchez. Number 3, Melanie Cirinola. Number 4, Pamela Sanchez. Number 5, Daniela Castro. Number 7, Emily Herrera. Number 10, Lillian Barreto. Number 11, Daisy Gomez. Number 14, Juliet Noguez. Number 21, Tawanda Kerr. And number 22, Val Rojas Alingay. And the Dolphins are also being introduced on the field right now, so I'll bring you the starting lineups for CSI as well. In goal will be 00, Kayla DiBenedetto. The rest of the Dolphins starters in numerical order. Number 2, Lauren Smith. Number 5, Rebecca Deloya. Number 7, Victoria Sanchez. Number 11, Nicole Mignon. Number 13, Lisbeth Aparicio. Number 15, Brittany Bornstad. Number 16, Catherine Mulligan. Number 18, Natalia Sandor. Number 25, Caitlin Russo. And number 28, Adriana Perello.
Thanks, Joe. And why the College of Staten Island is going for their 8th CUNYAC women's final. Lehman College looking for their first ever women's championship here this afternoon. So we're just moments away from the start of this afternoon's game. So why don't we step aside and take a break, and then we'll be back with the start of today's game as you're watching the 8th, the CUNY Championship coverage on CSI Sportsnet.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed our lives.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
We're back, and we're just moments away from the start of the 13th annual Women's Soccer CUNYAC Finals here this afternoon between the College of Staten Island and Lehman College. Staten Island going for their 8th championship. Lehman College looking for their first ever, Joe. So what are the keys for both teams here this afternoon in today's game?
Well, if you're the Dolphins, you need to continue to make the most of your chances. I mentioned the big drop-off in shots in that second meeting with CCNY, as opposed to the first, where the Dolphins took 43 shots in the second meeting against the Beavers here in the CUNYAC semifinal. Only 17, but the Dolphins still put 2 into the back of the net. The Dolphins need to continue to capitalize on their chances, as they have been there. 17 shots, still a nice robust number for the Dolphins. And if you're the Lightning, you need to do what you did against the Bloodhounds of John Jay College in the earlier rounds of this tournament. The Bloodhounds were limited to 3 shots by the Lightning, while the Lightning put 12 of their 13 shots on goal. So if you're Lehman College, you need to make sure that the shots that you take are on target. Force Kayla DiBenedetto to make saves for the Dolphins, make her work in goal, something that she hasn't necessarily had to do at times this year, where the Dolphins defense has really limited the opposition in terms of shot total as well. If you're the Lightning, you need to limit the Dolphins' opportunities. Easier said than done, but they were able to do so against John Jay College and pick up a 2-0 victory over a team that defeated them during the regular season.
And, you know, Joe, you look at this Lehman College team, and, of course, they're led by Daisy Gomez, the CUNYAC Player of the Year, who finished with 11 goals on the season for the Lightning, and she also had 3 game winners. And, you know, we mentioned earlier, Joe, Rebecca Gritz in goal for the Lightning. She's played every minute of every game as a freshman for the Lightning here, and a lot of pressure on both freshmen' shoulders here this afternoon in goal.
Of course, and if you're the Dolphins, Kayla DiBenedetto has been there for you all season long, has made big saves here in this CUNYAC tournament already. I mentioned that huge save at the end of the matchup with CCNY. Also, Rebecca Gritz facing a team with a lot of offensive firepower, and when she faced the Dolphins last, as we mentioned during the pregame, the Dolphins picked up the 2-0 victory. So here today, she'll probably need to be better than that. We'll see if she's up to the task. Lehman College, of course, will be motivated big time. As you mentioned, they're looking to pick up their first CUNYAC championship, but that's not to understate the motivation of the Dolphins, who are looking for the three-peat as we get set to kick off this 2017 CUNYAC Women's Soccer Championship.
Yeah, and, you know, another player to really keep an eye on, Joe, if you're the CSI Dolphins, is Lillian Barreto. Barreto, the 4-year senior for the Lightning, and, you know, she's always played very well against the College of Staten Island. And here we go. We're underway as the Dolphins will go from right to left here in the first half, as the first ball is going to be played down the far sideline, and it's going to be Sarah Rula to play the ball up. And here come the Lightning coming up the far sideline. And, Joe, wind blowing from left to right here this afternoon. A little bit of a breeze going in, a little bit chillier than it's been, but overall a good game for soccer. And here's the first mistake made as Mignon tries to break inside, but a nice job defensively by the Lightning to clear that ball away, as it's going to be played out by Sanchez out on the far sideline, and it'll go out of bounds, and it looks like it'll be an early corner kick here, Joe, for the Dolphins.
So an early mistake by the Lightning, as you mentioned, forces them to concede a corner kick. They attempted to keep that ball from crossing over the touchline. They could not, and the Dolphins will have an early opportunity. And as you mentioned, the Dolphins scored, I believe, a pair of goals in the last matchup against the Lightning off of corner kicks.
They did, and it'll be the first corner kick opportunity here for the Dolphins as they sky that ball into the center of the box, and it's going to be volleyed away out toward the far sideline, but it won't be out as the Dolphins now play the ball out of bounds. And twice here, Joe, in just over a minute, it'll be the second corner kick opportunity for the Dolphins. So corner kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins, as that ball is going to be played into the center, and it's going to be Gritz coming off of a line and making the play on the ball. So 2 early opportunities for the Dolphins, and Lehman able to play the ball up the field. Rojas and Gould now playing it out over to the far side, and now it'll be the Dolphins playing the ball back as they look to advance offensively. As we're just under 2 minutes of play here in this first half. Dolphins controlling possession here, Joe, so far most of the way.
They have, in a pair of corner kicks, keeping pressure on the Lightning early, forcing Rebecca Gritz to work in goal. She came out and snagged that second corner kick chance out of the air, but now a free kick for the Dolphins to be taken by Adriana Perello.
So Perello will take the free kick as she skies that one in the box, and Grist has to come off our line quickly and make the play, and she does, for the Lightning. And, you know, Joe, we mentioned Grit's listed in the program at 4'11", and I don't know if she's as tall as that. So you know the Dolphins are going to try to aim the ball towards the upper part of the net.
And there will certainly be space for the Dolphins to shoot that Grit simply cannot cover due to her height. We'll see if the Dolphins can take advantage of that as this one rolls over to the Dolphins goalkeeper, Kayla DiBenedetto.
So that was Sanchez trying to play the ball forward to Barreto, but DiBenedetto will play it for the Dolphins. Her first touch of the afternoon as she's going to punt that ball towards midfield. And Goulet with the ball for the Lightning. She chips it forward. She was looking for Sanchez once again. Dolphins able to knock it away but not clear it out, as that's Danielle Castro with the ball, and we're going to have a whistle, and that's going to be a foul on the Dolphins, Joe. And certainly with the wind at their back, an opportunity to put that ball into the penalty area.
And this is a very similar spot from where the Dolphins just took their free kick opportunity. But you mentioned the big difference here, Mike. The Lightning will have the wind at their backs for this attempt at a free kick.
So Cerarula with the free kick. Mignon standing in front of her as that goes over everyone's head into the box and the ball bouncing around. But the Dolphins able to knock it away as that was Aparicio. Now the ball sent it into the box once again. Nobody there to play it, and heading the ball out of bounds will be Perello. So now it'll be the Lightning with a free kick, with a corner kick opportunity.
And I believe that ball contacted the foot of one of the Lehman College players deep in the penalty area, but that player was not squared up with goal facing in the other direction, so they couldn't put that ball towards goal. They do, however, earn a corner kick, and it's number 2, Gridia Sanchez, taking it for the Lightning.
So Sanchez will take the corner as we play just over 4 minutes here in this first half. 3 early corner kicks in the game, and now an opportunity for the Lightning as Sanchez bounced that ball in the box. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the play. Is that time a pretty clear push from behind by the Lightning, Joe, and they get called for their first foul.
And Lauren Smith was shoved straight down to the turf, so that's what drew the foul call. Dolphins with possession moving towards midfield.
Galoya. Now it's going to be played into the center of the field to Borstad. Borstad looking to chip it forward. She's looking to get the ball to Russo, but a nice defensive play that time by Noguez to play it up the near sideline over to Herrera. And now the Lightning look to attack from the center of the field as that's Daisy Gomez. Gomez playing that ball out to the far side, gets the ball back and looks to set up and create here for the Lightning. We mentioned earlier, Joe, several very talented players on this Lightning team. And, you know, they come out knowing that they played very well earlier this year against the Dolphins, dropping a tough 2-0 game, looking for their first CUNYAC championship. As that ball's going to be played out over on the far side of the field, and the Dolphins play that ball going back. Dolphins knock it forward, but Ngule is there to clear the ball away for the Lightning. And now the Dolphins play it to Bornstad. Bornstad playing it into the middle of the field where Herrera's there for the Lightning as she plays it forward, and now it's going to be Aparicio to sky the ball back to midfield for the Dolphins. Herrera chipping the ball over to Cerarula. Now back to Ngule. She chips that ball forward, but a nice defensive play that time by Sanchez to knock the ball away for the Dolphins and feed it over to Bornstad. Lightning doing a nice job in midfield, really clogging things up. Dolphins really not able to break through the midfield on their last couple of possessions. And now DiBenedetto makes the play for the Dolphins. Sanchez with the ball, guarded by Perello. She's able to get by her momentarily. And now the Dolphins play it out to the far sideline where Gomez is there to play it. Gomez passing the ball over to the far side. The Lightning try to keep the ball in bounds. They can't, so it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. So, Joe, we played about 6.5 minutes. What are your impressions here early this afternoon?
It was the Dolphins exerting the pressure on the attack early in this game, but the Lightning have done a good job here in the last 2 or 3 minutes keeping the ball in play on this side of midfield to our right and on the right side of your screen as the Dolphins look to finally cross midfield back in the other direction, but both teams have done a good job controlling possession for 3-minute intervals each, as we're now about 7 minutes into the first half here.
Sanchez, good job getting that 50-50 ball along the far sidelines, and now looks to break down that far sideline. The ball's going to be played out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins. And Sanchez has played very well in the playoffs so far, Joe. She picked up the first goal in the game against CCNY on Wednesday.
She was a huge part of the Dolphins' attack in that game against CCNY. Did great work along that far sideline in the first half before she exited the game. Did pick up the goal, as you mentioned. And once again, right there, Lehman College sees one of their passes intercepted, this time, fortunately for them, around the midfield. But they need to be much more careful with their passes in their defensive zone, as the Dolphins have already intercepted a pair. The first led to an opportunity for CSI. That one could have been trouble, but the Lightning have been able to regain possession and now move toward midfield.
So Grits plays the ball over, and now it's the Lightning looking to build up the attack from the far side and coming up with a nice amount of speed, but a nice defensive play that time by the Dolphins to clear the ball out of bounds. So now it'll be the Lightning with the throw-in. And, you know, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, Joe, the Lightning doing a really good job. They've clogged up midfield very well and have been able to keep the ball on the Dolphins side of the field.
And the Dolphins often look to play their attackers through midfield with a long ball. And if the Lightning can cut down those long balls and not allow the Dolphins to get in between those backline defenders, as you see another long ball attempt there, but the Lightning appear to be waiting for it, and that will likely travel out of play down around the corner. But the Dolphins, again, often look for those long balls through midfield to play their attackers ahead. Sometimes even defensive backs may move up onto the attack and receive that pass before looking to play the ball forward. The Lightning really need to make sure that they don't let the Dolphins get in behind their defense, and the Lightning themselves need to be certain that they don't allow the Dolphins to intercept passes in that final third of the field to create an opportunity, because the Dolphins have shown that off of turnovers they can capitalize.
So the Dolphins look to press the Lightning in, but it's the Lightning able to break down the sideline, and that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, so it'll be another throw-in here for the Lightning. Overcast day here on Staten Island, as the College of Staten Island looking for their third consecutive CUNYAC championship and 8th overall. We're scoreless here. We played just about 9.5 minutes in this first half. One shot on goal officially credited, Joe, and that for the Lightning. Dolphins looking to play the ball down the sideline, but once again, the Lightning are there and able to maintain possession of the ball and keep the Dolphins pinned inside their own zone. Good defensive play to knock the ball to Bordstad as she's able to clear the ball back to midfield, but it's only Mignon there against 4 Lightning players. And now it'll be Herrera playing the ball, but we're going to have a whistle on the play, and now an opportunity for the Dolphins.
And you have to like what the Lightning have done, keeping play to the right of midfield. I believe a foul was called there on the high volley attempt by the Lightning, so the Dolphins awarded the free kick. But the Lightning have really kept the Dolphins off of the attack since the opening minute or two. But this ball is played down into the penalty area off the head of Mignon, and it's snagged out of the air by Grits. But if you're the Lightning, you have to like how this game has gone since about the first 2 minutes. Not a great start to the game for them in minutes 1 and 2. The Dolphins awarded a pair of corner kicks in that time, but the Lightning have settled down and really done a good job controlling possession since.
Sanchez playing the ball back to Herrera. Now the Lightning try to play the ball up, but Smith is there to steal the ball away momentarily for the Dolphins, and it'll be played out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins, as it looks like DeLoya will come up to take the throw-in here. Another great year for Rebecca DeLoya, Joe. I think in a lot of ways she's been the best Dolphin defender all year long.
We've said her name so many times in our broadcast this year, making key defensive plays and even chasing down some plays that looked like they were a lost cause at times, a costly turnover that leads to a potential breakaway opportunity. Just one example of where Rebecca DeLoya has paid dividends for the Dolphins, getting back and playing with good defensive effort, as we see once again right there. She knocks that ball away from the Lightning attacker over the near sideline. So throw in for Lehman College, but that play right there, just one example of the kind of defensive effort the Dolphins have come to expect from Rebecca DeLoya.
So Noquest coming up to throw the ball in here for the Lightning. She throws it up the sideline, but it'll be knocked out of bounds once again, and it'll just be another throw-in opportunity here for the Lightning. Noguez throwing the ball into the center of the field where it's Sanchez. Sanchez rolling the ball back to an overlapping Cerarula. Lightning looking to attack and get a bunch of numbers up front, but the Dolphins able to knock it away momentarily as Smith plays it away, but the Lightning able to bring it right back on the Dolphins side of the field. DeLoya out on the near sideline, chips it up onto the head of Herrera, but now it'll be Russo playing the ball back for the Dolphins. Lightning doing a good job of really forcing all the Dolphins on their defensive half of the pitch, and now it's Russo playing the ball as that ball will be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins.
And good defensive pressure by the Lightning right around midfield there. As the Dolphins were stifled and couldn't advance the ball, they'll look to do so on the throw-in, and Natalia Sandor comes away with it before turning it over.
Yeah, and we've very rarely mentioned Sandor's name so far here in this first half, as the Lightning really have done a good job of really preventing much of an offensive attack from the Dolphins at all since those first two corner kicks here early in the first half. Lightning with possession once again, as that's Gomez looking to play the ball forward. She rolls it into the center of the field now, Sarah Rula. And now coming up to play the ball is Bornstad. Bornstad, a long ball looking for Mignon. Mignon looking to break in on Grits, but Grits able to get there about 2 steps ahead and make the play for the Lightning. Good defensive play that time by the Lightning keeper.
And that was Gridia Sanchez, who tried to get a foot on that ball intended for Mignon. She came up empty, and that forced Rebecca Grits to make a play. Coming out of goal, she was decisive and got to that ball with time to spare. Nicely done by the Lightning goalkeeper.
Herrera throwing the ball in, but it's going to be Bornstad coming over to play it for the Dolphins. Castro's pass is going to be knocked out of bounds, and now Castro will come up to throw the ball in for the Lightning. Aparicio for the Dolphins rolls it back now to Mulligan. Mulligan now playing it all the way down onto the far side of the field. The Dolphins looking to get the ball out over to Sanchez, but it's going to be knocked away, and this time it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins. Dolphins really having trouble getting any kind of coordinated attack going at all, Joe. I don't know if we've seen a possession where they've strung together more than a couple of passes in a row, and the Lightning doing a great job cluttering up the midfield and really making things difficult here for the Dolphins, as now Aparicio will play it up on the near sidelines to DeLoya. DeLoya's pass goes into the center of the field. There's nobody there except Sarah Rula, who had come up overlapping from her position to knock that ball on goal, and Di Benedetto is there to play it for the Dolphins.
And back to the point you just made, Mike, the Dolphins have more often than not been stifled around the midfield area in this game thus far, but they get out on the attack here.
Sanchez putting that ball across, and she was looking for Mignon, and Grits is there to play it. So that time, Joe, the Dolphins got a very nice counterattack going and ended up with a nice opportunity, but once again, Grits was there to make the play for the Lightning.
And I mentioned it during our last broadcast several times. It's been the quickly developing attacks that have really yielded the best opportunities for the Dolphins. Usually it's one attacker making a run up along that far sideline or in between the backline defenders, and that one long ball pass or that one run with possession along the far sideline taking on the defense that has led to the Dolphins' opportunities. It hasn't been the methodical possessions where the team moves the ball from player to player that have yielded the opportunities. More often than not, it's been those quickly developing attacks.
Early substitution here as Hunter checks into the game for Russo, gets a foot on the ball immediately and chips that one in front, and Sandor was breaking in, and that ball just went past Mignon as well, so big opportunity there for the Dolphins, but once again, Grits able to make the play for the Lightning.
And Ashley Hunter comes off the Dolphins bench and makes an immediate impact as she made a good pass there toward the center of the box, just beyond the reach of Mignon's right foot, and then Sandor was beat to the ball by Rebecca Grits, but not a bad ball at all from Ashley Hunter there, attempting to set up her teammates in front for the Dolphins' really first true goal-scoring opportunity.
Sandor playing that one into Mignon, but the flag is up. And I think it was an offside, Joe. Not sure if it was an offside or a foul. It was a foul on the play. So it will be a free kick coming up here for the Lightning. .28 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. We're scoreless. The Dolphins and the Lightning. Lehman looking to win their first ever CUNYAC championship in women's soccer, and coming out this afternoon and playing a very strong game on the road although technically a neutral site here this afternoon in this CUNYAC championship. Anglia playing the ball back, and now it's going to be Mignon. Mignon to an overlapping Hunter. Hunter with a little bit of space as it's Herrera looking to chase her down. Now Ingula coming over to play the ball. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. So a rare throw-in, Joe, for the Dolphins deep inside Lehman territory.
And Ashley Hunter immediately found herself surrounded by 3 Lightning defenders. A great job of stifling that possession. The Dolphins may have had something going there when Hunter made that run along the near sideline. She was immediately looking inside to try and set up one of her teammates. Once again, the Lightning made sure that didn't happen. A good job by Lehman College.
As the Lightning's throw-in goes directly out of bounds, so now it'll be Deloy to come up and throw the ball in here for the Dolphins. Looking to get the ball to Sandor. Big collision that time as Sandor crashed into a Lightning player, and she'll pick up the foul. As it looks like the Lightning player might be a little shaken up on the play, Joe. I haven't been able to catch a number yet.
No, I haven't either, Mike, but in these recent minutes now, after the Lightning saw possession in their favor, really outside of the first 2 minutes of this first half, it's now been the Dolphins over the last couple of minutes that have taken control of possession and have come away with really the only opportunities. No shots for the Dolphins, but they did get that ball out in front, the ball from Hunter towards Sandor and Mignon, as the referee has stopped the clock as a result of the injured player. Still don't have a number on that player. We'll have that for you once she stands up, but the referee has stopped the clock with 26:51 to go in the first half.
So the injured player for the Lightnings is Julith Noguez, as she's a little shaken up on the play. She'll come off to the sideline. So we'll get ready to resume here in this first half with 26 minutes, 51 seconds remaining, and we're scoreless between the Dolphins and the Lightning. And, you know, we expected a good, tough battle here this afternoon, Joe, and so far both teams have played well.
They have, and the Lightning have done a really good job of slowing the Dolphins down around the midfield, as you've mentioned, and when the Dolphins have gotten out on the attack, and they haven't really been able to do too much, as that one comes right towards you. Nice grab there, Mike, as that one's headed over the near sideline by Ashley Hunter right at us. But the Dolphins, when they've been on the attack, really haven't come away with many great scoring opportunities. No shots, of course, but that one ball in front from Hunter towards Mignon and Sandor is really it for the Dolphins outside of the 2 corner kicks, which came within the first 2 minutes of play. And those corner kicks didn't yield any great chances, as one was quickly knocked away and the other was grabbed out of the air by Rebecca Gritz. The Dolphins still looking for their first shot. The Lightning with the lone shot in this game, and that was a weak shot on goal at that.
50-50 ball played up the near sidelines where Aparicio comes back to play it for the Dolphins. Now DeLoya will skide into the center of the field, but just a couple of light blue jerseys there for the Lightning as Gomez comes away with the ball. Now the ball will be fed up the near sidelines looking for Herrera, but the ball will go out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Lightning. Bortstead able to head that one back toward the near sideline. Collision on the play that time is... That was Herrera and Hunter colliding, and it will be once again a Lightning throw-in. Mignon heading that ball back to the center of the field. Sarah Rula coming up and playing it for Lehman. Now plays it out over to the far sideline, where the Lightning look to build up the attack once again, but now Mignon back to play the ball for the Dolphins, gets it up to Sandor. Sandor looking to streak that way down the far sideline. She has some space now as she breaks inside the penalty area, but a nice defensive play that time by the Lightning as they're able to fight off the attack, but Sandor maintains possession, looks to play it forward. Now Sanchez coming up to fight for possession for the Dolphins. As that ball is played up the far sideline, it'll roll out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins. So some good attacking forechecking there by the Dolphins, Joe.
And it looked like the Dolphins may be developing a threat there for just a few moments, but once again, the player possessing the ball, in that case, Natalia Sandor, found herself surrounded by 3 Lehman College defenders and just had nowhere to go with it, and they forced Sandor to cough it up. The Dolphins, however, do regain possession, moving forward on the attack.
DeLoya looking to overlap for one of the first times here this afternoon, but the ball's going to be played out defensively by the Lightning, as that was Sanchez to play the ball up into midfield, where Mulligan is there to play it for the Dolphins. Mulligan playing the ball forward. It's knocked back by the Lightning, and Aparicio is there to play it to Deloya up the near sideline. Deloya able to play the ball forward in spite of that sliding tackle attempt by Pamela Sanchez. That ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a free kick now for the Lightning as official comes over and has a couple of words for Pamela Sanchez there. So free kick here for the Lightning. Only one shot, Joe, officially still credited on goal, that for the Lightning.
And that was a weak shot, as I mentioned before. And if you're the Dolphins, you find yourselves surrounded by 3 Lightning defenders whenever a player is possessing the ball for you. Perhaps you look to make just one pass and then come away with your first shot. If you're the Dolphins, as the Lightning have really swarmed to the player with the ball, if the Dolphins can find a way to get a pass through that Lightning defense when they attempt to swarm the ball, they may find some openings. And perhaps their first shot of the game, the Dolphins still looking for that, as we're now nearly halfway through half number 1.
Dolphins able to play that ball forward to Aparicio, but once again the Lightning able to play the ball away in midfield and look to come forward on the counterattack, and they're able to break through as that ball's played through to Castro. Castro playing it out on the far sideline, looking to get that ball to Barreto. Instead, it'll be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Lightning, so a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins as we approach the midpoint here in this first half, scoreless between the Dolphins and the Lightning. And, you know, both teams, Joe, looking for that big goal-scoring opportunity. Dolphins have just missed by a couple of steps on a couple of occasions. And, you know, we mentioned earlier, Lehman doing a very good job in midfield here in the first half.
They have, and it's a little early in this game. We're about at the midway point now, just beyond the midway point of half number 1. But if you're the Dolphins, you have to be a bit concerned that with the amount of shots you've put on goal and toward goal this season, you don't have your first shot yet. This could be an opportunity to get it right here.
And that was Sanchez breaking in with a lot of space, but a nice defensive job that time by the Lightning to close that off quickly and come right back and attack through the midfield, as we're going to have a whistle and a foul on the play, or at least an injury on the play, as a Lightning player is down out along the far sideline. "21 minutes, 40 seconds remaining here in this first half. The Lightning off the Dolphin foul will have the free kick here. As Dolphins getting ready for their second substitution of the game here this afternoon. Bornstad playing the ball forward, looking to get the ball to Sandor. Sandor, a nice move, and she has some space now along the far sideline. Sandor fighting for possession with Angule, and the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. But first, the substitution, Joe, for the Dolphins.
And it's number 22, Brianna DiStefano, entering for the Dolphins in place of number 15, Brittany Bornstad, second Dolphins substitution of the game.
Brianna DiStefano replaces number 15.
So DiStefano will come into the game here for the Dolphins as the Dolphins look to play that forward to Mignon. And you got to give the Lightning a lot of credit, Joe. They've kept the Dolphins quiet off the scoreboard here so far, but the Dolphins looking to press forward here on the throw-in.
And in the pregame, I spoke about one of the keys for the Lightning would be to limit the Dolphins to as few shots as they limited the Bloodhounds to in their meeting in the semifinals round. The Bloodhounds, as I mentioned, only took 3 shots in that game, and I mentioned that it may not be realistic to hold the Dolphins to a shot total that low, but the Lightning are certainly off to a good start in achieving that goal as we have the first Lehman College substitution of the game.
Yeah, Susanna Tario will check into the game, and she's going to replace number 5, Daniela Castro, and Castro played well in the first half. A little bit of a limp, Joe, as she comes off the field.
And she went down hard before holding her leg. Hopefully she's okay and will get back out there at some point in this game. But this is about that time where we expect to start seeing substitutions regardless. The Dolphins with a pair, and now the Lightning making their first. The third Dolphin substitution also waiting at the scorer's table.
So the ball's going to get played forward now. And Noguez is there to play it away for the Lightning. As Lehman looks to build the attack up from the far sideline, as Dolphins try to step up a little bit in midfield, Joe, and try to clog up midfield a little bit better on their own.
And the Lightning, as we mentioned before, have done a great job of that. The Dolphins also really haven't allowed the Lightning too many quality possessions, but the Lightning have had the ball. So the Dolphins can't score if Lehman College possesses the ball, and the Lightning have done a good job thus far in this game of at least maintaining possession, though they haven't made too much of it. I mentioned their one shot on goal of week 1, as the Dolphins now look for their first shot moving forward on the attack.
Pirello's long pass finds its way to Mignon, and now Hunter looks to head the ball forward, but it'll bounce up towards goal where Grits is there to play it once again for the Lightning. She'll punt it up the near sideline. Tario will be there to play it. Now it's Rojas Angula looking to play the ball forward, and we're going to have a whistle and a substitution.
And the substitution for the Dolphins will be number 17, Daniela Zerpolo, replacing number 11, Nicole Mignon. The horn for the substitutions directly to our left, this time a handheld horn rather than the scoreboard horn. So if you hear that coming over the microphone, that's what it is.
As that ball's going to be knocked out over the near sideline, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins as we approach 18 minutes remaining here in this scoreless first half between the Dolphins and the Lightning. As Deloy's throwing is going to be knocked out of bounds, and we're going to have a substitution once again as the Dolphins continue to roll in substitutes here, Joe, as we get inside of 18 minutes.
And here it's number 10, Susan Aracena, replacing number 7, Victoria Sanchez, the 4th Dolphins substitution here in this first half.
It's been a pretty physical first half here for both teams. You see Sanchez coming off with a little bit of a limp, as did Daniela Castro for the Lightning, and it's been a pretty physical, clean played, but physical first half here, Joe.
It has, Mike, and we really haven't seen much in the way of chances, but physical play has been about as entertaining as it's been thus far. Really no high-quality chances for either team, and not much play down in the attacking third on either side of the field so far in this first half as we tick down towards 17 minutes remaining in half number 1. The Dolphins will have a throw-in.
So it'll be Deloy to throw the ball in here for the Dolphins as she looks to get that ball inside the 18. And now it's Sandor rolling it back to Deloy. Deloy looking to pass the ball across. She was looking for Aracena. Now Smith able to chip the ball towards goal, but it'll just roll in on a couple of bounces, and an easy play for Gritston goal for the Lightning. Ball played up the far side of the field now.
Shot was taken by number
Sarah
2.
Ruler in the middle of the field as that ball will roll all the way down the far sideline and out of bounds. As we'll have another substitution here, Joe, for the Dolphins.
And it's number 4, Stephanie Lapointe, checking in for CSI, replacing number 2, Lauren Smith.
So Smith will check out of the game as Lapointe checks back in for the Dolphins. And the Dolphins throw the ball up the far sidelines and look to build up their offensive attack, and they'll have another throw-in, this time right from the midfield line. Perillo will come up to throw the ball in for the Dolphins. She was looking for Sandor, but the Lightning there to play it back towards midfield, where Lapointe gets her first touch of the afternoon, and the Dolphins try to play it forward. Instead, it'll be Sanchez to knock the ball away until Mulligan plays it back for the Dolphins. Hunter tried to break inside, but she's denied by the Lightning defense, and now it'll be Lapointe for the Dolphins. Lapointe playing it forward, but Sanchez is there to play it away for the Lightning as the teams fight for possession in midfield, and now DiStefano will throw it to Deloya. Now to Zappolo, who just checked into the game for the Dolphins. She'll sky the ball down the far sideline. She's looking to get it to Sandor. It'll be Sandor and Barreto. Barreto will get there first and play the ball out of bounds. And now it'll be a throw-in once again for the Dolphins. Perello will come up from her back position to throw the ball in. And the Dolphins able to get the ball into Sandor. Sandor trying to turn. She's denied, but the ball will be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in now deep inside Lightning territory.
We talked about it in the pregame. The Dolphins have gotten contributions top to bottom on their roster. Several substitutions in the game now. The Dolphins with only a single shot in this game, perhaps looking for a spark here from the benches. Now it's half substitutes, half starters out there for CSI at the positions on the attack.
So the Dolphins tried to head that one towards goal, and Sandor's shot went wide. So it'll be a free kick opportunity as Sanchez will take that free kick now for the Lightning, and Zappolo heads that ball up in the air as the team's fighting for possession in midfield, and LaPointe comes up to try to knock that ball forward for the Dolphins, but a nice breakout pass for the Lightning to begin their counterattack. Lightning now looking to roll the ball forward, looking for Barreto, but the Dolphins there to knock the ball away. And now it'll be Pareto in the center of the field, where the Dolphins able to play it back to Zappolo. Zappolo looking to chip it forward to Sandor, but Lightning back to knock that one away. And now the Lightning able to come back and counterattack once again as they look to bring the ball across midfield. Lightning now chip that ball up in toward the center as we have a collision in midfield, and we're going to have a foul, and I think that'll be on the Dolphins as both players down on that play.
And the referee has stopped the clock as well with a Dolphin player appearing to be down injured. But one thing I have noticed, Mike, as well, the Dolphins looking to play Zappolo up and over the defense with that last ball. The Lightning have positioned one player far beyond their furthest back defenders. So you have a back line of 4 players. 3 of those defenders on that back line are positioned conventionally, and then one player is positioned far back beyond those 3 players on defense. So the Dolphins are going to have a tough time getting a player in beyond the back line and through the defense for a goal-scoring opportunity, and yet they continue to look for that. I think they're best off playing the ball up the sidelines with some speed instead of trying to play their attackers through the middle of that Lightning defense with one player waiting. That's been Gridia Sanchez, who's been waiting back beyond her 3 fellow backline defenders for the Lightning there, and she was able to knock that ball away, the pass intended for Zappolo, prior to the foul.
So that foul called on Sandor, and Sandor one of the 2 players down on the play, and the referee had a couple of words for Natalia, and it will lead to a free kick opportunity here coming up for the Lightning as we get ready to get back underway with 13-17 remaining in the first half as that ball played in toward the center, and Mulligan there to knock the ball away for the Dolphins. And Mulligan finishing off a great 4-year career with the Dolphins, Joe, is a CUNYAC All-Star once again. Lightning looking to play the ball forward. That's Ngule. Chipping it out on the near sideline. That's Herrera. Herrera with a little bit of space. She'll knock that ball forward. And that time the Dolphins able to have the Lightning play that out of bounds. So it'll be a free kick coming up here. As Kiki Nugent comes into the game, she'll replace Natalia Sandor, and Nugent scored the second goal in that game against CCNY in the CUNYAC semifinals, Joe, earlier this week.
And she came in that game and had an immediate impact, scored that goal very soon after entering, something that she was also able to do in the regular season at times, come in and provide a spark for the Dolphins on the attack. They're certainly looking for that here.
So LaPointe coming in and making a nice physical play in the midfield to come away with possession as she fights with Cerarula for the ball. Both teams fighting for possession, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Lightning. And, you know, that's what we've seen all game long, Joe. Good spirited play by both sides.
And that was an aggressive physical challenge there by LaPointe. I think the foul was ultimately called as the Lightning were looking for that call. I didn't hear a whistle, but a foul was indeed called. Free kick for Lehman College.
So Cerarula will take it as Melanie plays that one into the center of the field, and the Dolphins knock it back to midfield where Nugent gets her first touch of the afternoon. Now it's LaPointe. LaPointe swinging that one out to the far side, but it'll be past everyone and out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in opportunity here for the Lightning. Not many opportunities at goal, Joe, here for either team. So if you get that shot on goal, you really want to maximize the opportunity here. It's been a good battle, good physical battle here between both teams. As now Deloy is going to throw that one up. And, you know, you mentioned it before, Sanchez just back there and, you know, really playing center field, Joe, and waiting for any Dolphin to come through. And Lightning have come out with a good plan here this afternoon.
And I mentioned the Dolphins found their success in their last game against CCNY when they had quickly developing attacks. And here in this game, if they're looking to play that ball over for a quick attacking play, as LaPointe looking for a teammate through it, Serpolo with it,
So LaPointe gets the ball to Zappolo, and LaPointe has played extremely well since checking in the game and has had a lot of touches here as she kind of shanks that one off her foot. Zappolo going hard trying to keep it in play, but she won't be able to, so it'll be a free kick here coming up for the Lightning.
Going back to my point very quickly, if the Dolphins are looking for that long through ball, the Lightning appear determined not to give it to them. In this game here today, the Dolphins may be better served looking to put together a slower, methodical attack, moving the ball around and finding holes in the Lightning defense. I mentioned the Lightning have been swarming to the ball. If you can make just one pass out of that double or triple team from the Lightning, you may be able to find an open attacker and some opportunities, because the Dolphins have struggled to find chances here so far in this first half. We're now down under 10 minutes remaining.
And it'll be the Dolphins to throw the ball in right from midfield. One shot apiece, officially credited. 2 corner kicks to 1, both in the first 2 minutes of the first half. And we stand level with just 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, as it'll be Perello on the far side of the field. She plays the ball forward. She was looking for Nugent. And instead, stepping forward will be Herrera for the Lightning. Tawanya Kerr plays it forward. Tawanda's pass goes up high in the air now, as Perello is there to head it down, but nothing but blue shirts there, as that's Ngule. Ngule chipping it forward. She's looking for Pamela Sanchez, who chips that ball towards goal. Instead, Deloy are able to clear it out to the far sideline, and the Dolphins' breakout pass looking for Nugent is going to be knocked away. Instead, it'll be Noguez there to play it for the Lightning. And Nugent will throw it in here for the Dolphins as the Dolphins try to counterattack quickly. Zappolo trying to fight her way past a couple of Lightning players. And it'll be played now to Sarah Rula, as they'll roll the ball back now and look to attack up the far sidelines. Nice play by LaPointe to knock it away momentarily. But now it'll be the Lightning looking to come forward until Perillo plays that ball back to midfield for the Dolphins. Nugent draws the foul on the play, so now it'll be a free kick opportunity for the Dolphins, and Joe, maybe an opportunity to play that ball up toward the top of the penalty area.
And you have to think that's what the Dolphins will be looking to do here. A bit far for that with the wind against them, so they cannot attempt to get that ball up toward the top of the box, but Deloya now takes a shot at it.
Now Zappolo looks and turns to put that one towards goal. Instead, it'll bounce well wide, and it'll be a free kick opportunity for the Lightning as the clock continues to wind down. We're now under 8 minutes here in this first half.
Well, despite only having one shot, the good news for the Dolphins is that about a minute or two ago, the ball traveled near the Dolphins' net. That's about as close as the ball has come to the Dolphins' goal in at least the last 30 minutes. So the Dolphins have done a good job of keeping Lehman College away from a threatening attacking position. However, they haven't found much threatening ground themselves on the attack.
And now the Lightning look to play the ball up the far sideline, as that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, but we're going to have a whistle and another foul called on the Lightning. So now it'll be Perillo with an opportunity here to take the free kick for the Dolphins. Perillo's free kick goes up toward the box, looking to get it to Nugent. Instead, it's going to bounce up in the air as the Dolphins try to knock that one in. That's LaPointe once again, and it'll be knocked out of bounds, and now LaPointe will take the throw in for the Dolphins. The header goes off a Lightning player over to Zappolo, but the ball's going to be knocked back now and played by Deloya. Dolphins looking for Deloya to make a little bit of a run here as she turns and heads the ball toward the sidelines. Now with some space, gets it over to Hunter. Hunter looks to chip the ball in front. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and that should be a throw-in for the Lightning, for the Dolphins, I should say, deep inside Lightning territory.
And a good defensive play there from Tawanda Kerr. The last time Hunter looked across in that position, she had a pair of attackers in front that were in scoring position.
Dolphins looking to play that up to Zappolo. Now it's Deloya. Deloya looking to turn and put that ball into the center. She's looking for Nugent. Nugent over to LaPointe. LaPointe shot! Ricochets off the crossbar. Now it's Zappolo. And Grist is there to make a save. What an opportunity. But the shot rockets off the crossbar.
And we spoke about the Dolphins looking for an area in goal that Rebecca Gritz simply could not reach with their shots earlier, just prior to the start of this game. And right there, Stephanie LaPointe found a spot that Gritz simply had no chance of reaching. Unfortunately for her, it hits off off of the crossbar, and the Lightning and Dolphins remain in a scoreless tie, but a great shot there from a long way out by Stephanie Lapointe just came up short of putting the Dolphins ahead 1 goal.
And Lapointe has been the best player out on the field for the Dolphins so far here in the few minutes she's checked into the game, and she'll have another free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins as she skies that one into the center. It bounces back down to DiStefano, who skies that one up in the air, but we're going to have a whistle up, and the Dolphins, I believe, will get called for the offsides as we have an opportunity to take a look once again as the ball went into Nugent. She played the ball back to Lapointe. She blasted one toward the goal. It just went off the top, and the Dolphins able to follow up with the header, but a good opportunity that time by the Dolphins, and really Lapointe has played very well, Joe, since she's checked into the game.
She definitely has, and that shot wasn't taken from quite as far as I initially thought it was watching it on the monitor there. Really a great quality scoring chance and great scoring position, a great shot by Lapointe as well. Could not convert as once again it's Sanchez deep in the back looking to cut down that long ball attempt by the Dolphins. Lightning cleared away, but the Dolphins with their second shot on goal there, their first high-quality scoring chance, just missed taking the lead.
And the Dolphins have been pressing up forward here in the last couple of minutes with Lapointe and DeLoya overlapping, and that's really turned the tide a little bit, as well as Zappolo and Hunter playing well, and that should be a handball on the Lightning as that time Herrera got her hand on the ball, and this will be a little bit better opportunity, Joe, for the Dolphins to put that ball into the center of the box.
And as we approach 4 minutes remaining here in the first half, momentum certainly seems to begin swinging in the Dolphins' favor here as the Dolphins now have the free kick. As you mentioned, it's Adriana Perello to take that free kick. She's receiving some instruction from the bench as the Dolphins try and get set up here, but the Dolphins now certainly appear to be in control of this game and will look to take that control into halftime.
Let's see if Perello looks to put that ball up high as she skies that one into the center of the box. It goes off of the head of a Lightning player, so the Dolphins will have their third corner kick, first since the first minute or so of the game, and this one will take place from the far side of the field, and Perello will go all the way over, Joe, to the other side to take this corner here for the Dolphins as they're going to press forward here in the last 3.5 minutes.
And I'm sure the Lightning would have liked to avoid conceding that corner kick, but they had no choice there as that was a very dangerous ball played into the box by Perello.
And here comes Perello with that corner kick. It goes right into the center, but the linesman's flag is up. So the Dolphins don't take advantage of that corner kick, Joe, and it'll be the Lightning now with the free kick.
And the referee's flag immediately raised on that one. A Dolphins player must have been positioned offsides.
As the Dolphins look to play it forward to Zappolo once again, and it's going to be Herrera to sky it up in the air for the Lightning, and DiStefano looks to get that 50-50 ball. Instead, it's going to be Nugent. Nugent turning on the ball, now rolling it out onto the far side of the field. It's going to be centered toward the front once again, but this one will go out of bounds, so it'll be a free kick opportunity for the Lightning. We have an opportunity to take a look at that free kick by Lapointe, and that actually went off the head of a Lightning player, Joe, and the Dolphins ended up with the corner kick, but committed that violation, so we're unable to take advantage of it as we head down to 2 minutes remaining, and you can feel the place still buzzing, Joe, from that long shot by Lapointe that drilled off the crossbar, and the Dolphins trying to continue to build on the momentum, and that's a handball called on the Lightning, a very careless handball, Joe, that's going to result in a huge opportunity here for the Dolphins, because if they could put the ball up toward the top of the net, I'm not sure what Gris could do to stop it.
Yeah, I don't see her being able to extend fully and take away a shot in the upper maybe 20% of goal. You have to think that's where Adriana Perello will be looking to put this one. She's definitely within range for a shot attempt, and a big opportunity for the Dolphins with a minute and a half to go here in half number one.
And Perello has scored on a free kick already this year as she turns and skies that one towards goal. And for the second time, the Dolphins have knocked the ball off iron as that shot by Perello goes off the post, and that was in the net, Joe. But once again, a tough break as the Dolphins hit iron for the second time here in the first half.
And that's a pair of Dolphin shots that won't go down as shots on goal, but easily their two best chances of the game, one off the crossbar, one off the post. As the Dolphins look to crash on the net there, it's cleared away by the Lightning. However, Mike, it's completely clear now. The Dolphins have seized control of this game. They need to look to close this first half strong and continue this onslaught if possible. We're under a minute to go in half number 1.
The Dolphins looking to play that ball forward as it's Zappolo. Instead, it'll be cleared away by the Lightning as that's Ngule with the ball. Ngule looking to play it forward, but a nice defensive play that time by the Dolphins to knock the ball out of bounds. And once again, that's LaPointe on the play, Joe. And really, I think the game really turned around for the Dolphins when she checked in.
It certainly did, Mike. And you just got to look at a replay of that shot by Adriana Perello. She took it from the upper right corner of the penalty area across the goal mouth and off the left post. Simply no way that Grits is going to have any chance of covering that range as the ball rolls down toward Kayla Di Benedetto. Here's another look at the Perello shot.
As the first half is going to come to an end, and we're going to be scoreless here at halftime. But, you know, Perello with that free kick opportunity, with a golden opportunity here for the Dolphins. So the Dolphins hit the post twice, one crossbar, one post, Joe, and we go into halftime scoreless, level at 0. Good first half of soccer.
A great first half that really picked up towards the end there. I mentioned before, physical play was really the highlight of that first half up until about the last 10 minutes or so. But then the Dolphins really began to exert some pressure on the attack, dominated possession for the last 10 to 15 minutes of that first half. And those two shots that came up empty for the Dolphins there at the end, one off the crossbar, one off the post. I shouldn't say they came up empty. As you mentioned, Mike, they caught nothing but iron. That last shot by Perello was about as well placed as a shot could be, almost all the way up in the corner where the crossbar meets post. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, neither the shot by LaPointe or the shot by Perello found the back of the net, and the Dolphins find themselves in a scoreless tie at halftime.
So we are at halftime scoreless between the Dolphins and the Lightning. The Dolphins looking to win their third consecutive CUNYAC championship. The Lightning looking to win their first. It was a good fighting first half. Both teams playing well. The Dolphins hitting the post twice. So we look forward to a very exciting 45-minute second half. So why don't we step aside? We'll take a break here for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back to bring you halftime statistics and get you ready for the start of the second half as you're watching the 2017 13th Annual CUNYAC Women's Soccer Championships right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course.
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving? Drunk.
Fresh thought and unconventional methods. Common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Uh-oh. We're back here at halftime, and we're scoreless between the Lightning and the College of Staten Island. And, you know, it was an exciting first half, Joe, a back-and-forth first half. But as the half wore on, the Dolphins seemed to wear down the Lightning a little bit, and their opportunities seemed to get a little bit better and better.
I think if you're the Dolphins, you had to be a bit disappointed up until the last 10 minutes. But then at that point, CSI really seized control of this game. They got those two high-quality scoring chances on shots that hit the crossbar and the post, one off of a shot by Stephanie LaPointe during a possession where the Dolphins were actually able to dispossess a Lightning player near the top of the penalty area. Kiki Nugent battled for the ball before passing it over to LaPointe, who fired a shot. We'll get another look at that shot in just a moment. Also the shot on the free kick by Adriana Perello contacting the far left post. Again, Dolphins just missing, taking a 1-0 lead, and that could have even been the second goal the Dolphins scored in that first half, as we'll have a look at both of those shots in just a few moments.
Yeah, and, you know, the Dolphins play really turned around late in that first half. They brought in Stephanie LaPointe and got an immediate impact in the midfield and all over the field, playing very physically and playing very well for the Dolphins. And Rebecca DeLoya started to come up a little bit more. And, you know, it was really a change from that beginning of the first half, Joe, where the Lightning were able to do a really good job cluttering up the midfield, and the Dolphins couldn't find a way to break through. But as the half wore on and the Dolphins made a couple of substitutions, Daniela Zappolo also playing extremely well for the Dolphins since checking in. They really changed the momentum of the first half around, and, you know, the Lightning very fortunate that this game remains level at 0.
Well, I spoke about how the Dolphins perhaps were looking for a spark from their reserves, as typically the Dolphins would just be looking to keep the pressure on with the entry of their substitutes. The Dolphin starters, not typically a group that struggles to get some pressure on the opposition with their attacking play, but in this game they did struggle a bit to exert attacking pressure, and when those substitutes came in, including Stephanie LaPointe, as you mentioned, the Dolphins' attacking pressure really picked up. They got some quality scoring chances late in that first half, a pair of shots that we mentioned already by Perello and LaPointe, but other chances around the penalty area included in there as well. And we'll get a look at the first half stats now, as the score, again, as you know, is 0-0 here going into the second half. No score in this game. The Dolphins leading shots 6-1. 2-1 saves in favor of Lehman College, though they weren't forced to make saves on a couple of shots that could have easily found the back of the net. Corners 3-1. A pair of those Dolphin corners came within the first minute, and the Lightning corner also came very early in that first half as well. The Dolphins had one of their corner kicks late in that first half. The final 10 minutes, as we'll get a look now at those two shots that I've referenced a couple of times here.
So you had the first opportunity. The Dolphins played the ball into the center, and it came over to Nugent, and LaPointe just volleyed it towards goal and right off the bottom of the crossbar, Joe. And, Grits would have had no opportunity to play that one, but unfortunately for the Dolphins and LaPointe, that one just a little bit high.
And you can't place a shot much better than that. I said that about this Adriana Perello shot as well. That first shot by LaPointe off the bottom of the crossbar. The shot on a free kick by Adriana Perello was off the left post, as we'll get another look at that Perello shot right here. You see her lined up over the ball for the free kick with a new unique camera angle we've had here during CUNYAC tournament play. And there's the shot careening off that left post and out of play, knocked away by the Lightning. Still a great shot there by Perello. Another shot that Rebecca Grits simply had no chance to get to. And for the Dolphins, a pair of shots that won't go down as shots on goal, but will go down as easily their two best scoring chances in that first half.
Yeah, and the Lehman did a nice defensive job, Joe, on that second shot by Perello that went off the post there, because, it bounced right back into the center of the field, and, the Lightning didn't stand around defensively and watch the ball and made a nice defensive play to be able to clear that one away.
They did, and the Lightning really did do a good job of that when the Dolphins looked to play the ball into the penalty area up around the goal. Lehman College has done a good job in this game of clearing those balls away out of danger quickly. It's been when the Dolphins have gotten shots off that those shots have been trouble. We mentioned for the Dolphins only a pair of shots on goal in that first half. I believe the shot total was 4 or 5. I don't have the live stats application in front of me to confirm that at the moment. But for the Dolphins in that first half, typically when they were able to get shots off, they were good quality shots. However, when they've looked to play the ball into the penalty area, trying to find an attacking player well positioned in front of the net, the Lightning have done a good job clearing the ball away and getting it out of danger. We'll see if they can continue to do that, and hopefully for Lehman College, try and get some momentum back in their favor here in this game. The Dolphins hope to maintain control they seized late in the first half.
And for the Dolphins, Kiki Nugent comes back out on the field to start the second half, as does Stephanie LaPointe. So the Dolphins bringing those couple of substitutes in the first half back out to start the second half. Nicole Mignon, Victoria Sanchez back on the field for the Dolphins, as well as Brianna DiStefano, who checked into the game as a substitute, remains in the lineup here to start the second half for the Dolphins. So Dolphins looking to continue the momentum, Joe, that they were able to gain late in the first half.
And perhaps only a minor advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. The Dolphins now have the wind at their back here in the second half, so that should help them a little bit, especially on the free kicks. We'll see if that plays a role in any scoring chances for CSI here in half number 2. But the Dolphins were stifled around midfield for the early part of that first half, really got the attack going within about the last 10 to 15 minutes of half number 1. We'll see if they can put forth a more consistent effort on the attack here in half number 2.
So the ball's going to be played up the near sidelines where Barreto plays the ball, but it's LaPointe once again playing the ball down the near sideline up over to Sanchez. Sanchez does a nice job to keep that ball in play and now looks to center it in front where Grits comes out and makes the play. So a beautiful play that time by Victoria Sanchez, but a nice job in goal once again by Rebecca Grits.
So it's taken by Sanchez, stop made by Rebecca Grits.
DiStefano chipping the ball forward, and coming over to play the ball will be Gomez. Now it's going to be Sarah Rula to play it up to midfield where DiStefano has come up to play it once again. Ball going to be played into the middle of the field. Sarah Rula gets the ball up over to Castro, and now it'll be Barreto with the ball, but her centering pass is going to be knocked away by Mulligan. Mulligan looking to play the ball forward. Instead, it'll be Gomez to roll it back defensively onto the foot of Tawanda Kerr, but Kerr's pass will be knocked out of bounds, and that'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins. Sanchez to throw the ball in, looking for Mignon. Mignon has been quiet so far this afternoon, Joe, but she's the leading goal scorer for the Dolphins here in 2017.
And that's not for a lack of the Dolphins trying to find her with their passes, but I mentioned in the first half, Gridia Sanchez positioned far beyond that Lightning back line, one player out of the 4 positioned well beyond the other three. And when the Dolphins have been looking for Mignon on long through balls, Sanchez has been waiting there for the Lightning to cut those passes down, clear the ball away, whatever the situation calls for, and that has really limited the opportunities for Nicole Mignon here in this game.
And that time Lapointe was able to play that ball in towards Mignon, but Dolphins not able to keep that ball in play, so it's going to be a free kick opportunity here coming up for the Lightning. Dolphins have done a nice job here in the first couple of minutes. They've kept the ball deep inside Lightning territory. Still looking for an opportunity here as that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. And once again, Joe, it'll be a throw-in for the Dolphins as Perillo will come up and take the throw-in.
And it seems as if the Dolphins have picked up where they left off in the first half, maintaining possession here early in the second half through about the first 3.5 minutes of half number 2. And now, once again, a throw-in from deep into the attacking third. Lapointe will throw in for CSI.
So Lapointe will come in to take the throw-in. As she throws it in toward the penalty area, the ball's going to be bounced around and headed away by Danielle Castro as she'll play that ball out to midfield where Mulligan is there to play it for the Dolphins, and she'll roll it back to Aparicio. Now it's Mulligan. Mulligan looking to play that ball into the center. She's looking to get it to Nugent. It bounces over both players' heads. But once again, it's Granita Sanchez there to play the ball away for the Lightning, and taking no chances, she'll play it out over the far sideline. So a throw-in upcoming here for the Dolphins. It looks like DeLoya will come up to throw it in for the Dolphins. Now she's going to look to chip the ball into the center. And instead it'll be Gomez to knock it away, where Mulligan retrieves it at midfield for the Dolphins. Mulligan loses possession momentarily, but she's going to get called for the foul, and it'll be a free kick now for the Lightning. Coming up to take the free kick will be Sanchez, as the Lightning will press up, Joe, and try to get their first opportunity here in the second half.
And this is much like the first half started. The Dolphins really controlling the first 3 to 5 minutes. Then it was the Lightning that seized control and began to hold possession for longer periods. We'll see if they can do that here again in the second half. The Dolphins quickly gain it back, though, and move beyond midfield.
So now it's Mignon with the ball. Mignon getting the ball out over to Lapointe. Lapointe looks to play it into the center. Instead, it's going to be another handball called on the Lightning. And Joe, this is the second or third time that the Lightning have committed a handball and really given the Dolphins an opportunity. And with the wind at her back, Perillo could certainly put this one up toward the top of the goal.
And another opportunity here for Adriana Perillo to put one on goal, though her first free kick attempt toward goal, not necessarily considered a shot on goal. It was definitely what the Dolphins wanted, nearly putting the first goal of this game up on the scoreboard. Could have very well been the second. The Dolphins will look to take a lead on a free kick once again.
So Perillo will take that free kick for the Dolphins. She scored her goal on the free kick, as that one will be in on goal, and Gritz is there to make the save once again for the Lightning. So Perillo with an opportunity, but that shot is going to be knocked away, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins, as Perillo will come up to take that throw-in. And it'll be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be another throw-in here for the Dolphins as the Dolphins continue to press forward here in the early stages of this second half. Lapointe to throw the ball in as she gets the ball in toward the penalty area, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and that was a dangerous play that time, and it's going to cost the Lightning as it's going to be a corner kick here coming up for the Dolphins as Perillo will take that corner kick. It'll be the fourth corner kick of the afternoon for the Dolphins, and Perillo will take it. Perillo skying that one in toward the near post. That ball bounces, but it's going to be headed away nicely that time by Gomez over to Sanchez. Sanchez playing the ball back up over to Perillo, who'll sky it towards the box, and now it's Lapointe. Lapointe looking to chip that ball in front as she's taken down in the box. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, but once again, it'll be another corner kick. Good play that time by the Dolphins.
And the Lightning here have conceded now a pair of corner kicks to the Dolphins. The Dolphins really exerting a lot of pressure to open up play here in the second half, as they had that free kick, which was a quality scoring chance for Adriana Perillo. Didn't get all of it, perhaps looking to ensure that she didn't make contact with the crossbar of the post, put it right in the center of goal down low. And here Perillo will be taking this corner kick for the Dolphins once again.
So Perillo takes the corner, this time into the center of the box. It bounces a couple of times and is cleared away by the Lightning defense. So that ball bounced twice, but the Dolphins not able to get a play on it as the Dolphins look to play it back into the Lightning defensive zone once again. And now it's Aparicio running up for the Dolphins. Aparicio looking to get the ball over to Sanchez. Instead, it'll be Barreto to roll the ball back, as now it'll be Castro. Castro rolling the ball into the center of the field over to Daisy Gomez, but her pass is going to be off the foot of Sarah Rula. And now the Dolphins lose possession in midfield as the Lightning thought they were going to be able to make a counterattack. Instead, they're going to get called for the foul, and it'll be a free kick coming up here for the Dolphins.
You mentioned, Mike, late in that first half, the Dolphins really tightened up their defense around midfield. That has carried over into the second half as Lehman College has been unable to advance the ball past midfield, and the Dolphins have really dominated possession thus far through about 8.5 minutes in half number 2.
LaPointe looking to get the ball to Sanchez, but that pass is going to be just a little bit too far ahead of her, and it'll be a free kick opportunity. That was a good play by DiStefano. A nice play to draw the turnover, but her pass just went a little bit too far ahead as we have an opportunity to look at the replay of that free kick by Adriana Perillo, and Grits was there to make the save for the Lightning. So a free kick coming up here for Lehman as we're about 9 minutes into the second half, still scoreless, but the Dolphins continue to press their way forward in this 2017 CUNYAC Women's Championship, as that's going to be DeLoya. She rolls it back now to Aparicio. Aparicio will play the ball all the way across now to Perillo as Barreto looks to charge in on her. The pass is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Perillo to throw the ball in for the Dolphins. Adriana's throw in. It's going to be knocked away and played defensively that time by Pamela Sanchez, and now it'll be LaPointe that will pick up the foul, and it'll be a free kick opportunity. Actually, it'll be a foul on the Lightning. So it'll be Perillo to take the free kick. Perillo skying the ball forward. She was looking to get the ball to Mignon. Instead, it's going to be knocked away and played by DiStefano. DiStefano looking for Sandor, and we're going to have a whistle, and we got handball on the Dolphins. Free kick coming up here for the Lightning as we approach 10 minutes into this scoreless game between the Dolphins and the Lightning. Gudia Sanchez to take the free kick here for the Lightning, as that's going to be LaPointe, but the ball heads backwards and goes over to Mulligan. Mulligan looked to chip it into the center of the field. Now it's DiStefano, but a pass is knocked away by Barreto, and now Barreto will play the ball forward for the Lightning. Barreto looking to chip it into the center. She was looking for Sarah Rula, but instead it's going to be Mulligan to chip the ball back to midfield, and Mignon will play it for the Dolphins. Mignon's pass down the far sideline goes off the foot of Herrera, but the Dolphins unable to take advantage of it. But LaPointe steps forward to knock up that Lightning rush, and now the Lightning looking to counterattack down the far sideline, but Aparicio is there to roll the ball out over toward the sideline, and DeLoya will pick it up. DeLoya rolling the ball up towards Sandor. Sandor into the center of the field to DiStefano. Instead, that pass is going to be knocked away. And now the Lightning able to steal the ball, looking for Barreto. She had some space, but Perillo is there to knock the ball away. And now it'll be Sanchez. That pass ping-pongs off a Lightning player and is going to be played over by Sanchez. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and we're going to have a couple of substitutions here for the Dolphins. The first substitutions in the second half, Joe.
It's number 15, Brittany Bornstad, entering for the Dolphins. That was one of the two substitutions. Kiara Meza-Mendez, number 9, the second of two Dolphin substitutions coming into the game.
So Mendez making her first appearance in the game for the Dolphins as the Dolphins continue to look to press forward here. And Brittany Bornstad, who started the game for the Dolphins, checks back in, and we're going to have a whistle on the play, and I think we're going to have a free kick opportunity here, Joe, coming up for the Dolphins, although there is a Lightning player down on the field.
And the trainer's being waved on. Looks like the call was a foul on the Lightning as we're staying here. The Dolphins haven't reacted yet to indicate whether or not it will be them awarded the free kick, but the clock has been stopped at 33:08. Lightning player down. I didn't get a number on that player, Mike, but I'm sure we will in just a moment.
Yeah, so we have 33:08 remaining here in the second half, and, the Dolphins continue to press their way forward and press their way forward, Joe, and, have continued to play well since the later stages of the first half.
They have, and if you're a fan of the Dolphins who's followed more of our broadcast this year prior to this CUNYAC tournament final, you might be a bit surprised to see the Dolphins blanked on the scoreboard, especially given that they did defeat this Lightning team 2-0 in the regular season. I think Lehman College comes into this game perhaps playing their best soccer of the year, a big win over John Jay, a 2-0 victory against the team that defeated them in the regular season. They certainly came bringing forth their best effort today, but if you follow the Dolphins so far this year, seeing the Dolphins with only, I believe it was a pair of shots, neither on goal up until very late in that first half, would be a bit surprising to someone who's really followed this team throughout the entire season here on CSI Sportsnet. That shot total is very uncharacteristic of the Dolphins. We mentioned also in the pregame, CSI, a team that averages 17 shots per game, and they're not even close to that here, or at least on pace for that here in the second half. So the Dolphins, though they've exerted more attacking pressure, not necessarily coming away with the shots to reflect that, though they have come away with more shots in the last, I'd say, 25 minutes of play or so than they had throughout the entirety of the game before that.
Yeah, and that's Daisy Gomez, who was shaken up on the play for the Lightning, and she'll head out over the near sideline, and we certainly hope Daisy's okay and able to come back into the game here for the remainder of this second half. But once again, it looks like it's going to be a free kick opportunity here. Or it's actually going to be a corner kick, I should say, coming up for the Dolphins. So another opportunity, Joe, as the Dolphins get their sixth corner of the afternoon. And once again, it'll be Adriana Perello to take the corner. Dolphins with just one player in front, and they're going to look to charge up towards the goal box.
Number 6, Raheem Mehmedi replaces number 11. Check that, ladies and gentlemen.
As that corner kick bounces in the box, and once again, it'll be played by Rebecca Grit. So the Dolphins with another corner kick opportunity continue to press forward, Joe, but have been unable to break through here so far this afternoon.
And that corner kick came as a surprise to me, Mike. I didn't see that ball travel over the touchline, but it indeed was a corner kick taken by the Dolphins. So that ball must have just kept traveling after the two players collided in the final third of the field and ultimately traveling over the touchline. So the corner kick for the Dolphins, they're sixth. They look to move forward on the attack here as Meza Mendez goes down hard, a foul called.
Yeah, and that time I think it was Barreto that just shoved Menda Mendez down to the ground, and she's going to pick up a foul, and, that's going to give Perello another opportunity. And, again, Joe, the Lightning have been giving away a couple of penalties, a couple of foul kicks, and a couple of corner kicks, and have really given the Dolphins a couple of opportunities. Let's see what Perello could do with this free kick.
They certainly made the most of their free kick opportunities. Here comes another.
4 players in the wall as that's headed towards goal, and it's going to be played into the net. And the College of Staten Island takes a 1-0 lead. Lisbeth Aparicio picks up the goal for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins, Joe, have scored 3 goals this year against the Lehman Lightning, and Lisbeth Aparicio has all 3 of them, and the College of Staten Island takes a 1-0 lead.
And I just spoke about the Dolphins making the most of their free kicks, and they make the absolute most they can of this free kick right here. The Dolphins get the free kick awarded. It's Adriana Perello taking that free kick once again. One player made contact in front. The ball found its way across the goal mouth and onto the foot of Elizabeth Aparicio.
Yeah, and it was just a question of just allowing too many opportunities here early in the second half, Joe. Free kicks from right around the top of the penalty box and corner kicks, and the Dolphins are able to take advantage of it as Perello plays the ball inside the penalty area, and Lisbeth Aparicio comes up from a defensive position to put it in the net. And let's get another look at it as Perello played the ball from the near side, and she just chipped that ball in front. Grits was able to get a hand on it momentarily, but couldn't clear it away out of the box far enough, and Aparicio just knocked it in for the goal as she picks up that big goal for the Dolphins, and they take a 1-0 lead. And now it'll be Perello with another free kick coming up here for the Dolphins. 4-player wall. Dolphins played in front once again, and it's headed away nicely by the Lightning defense, but it'll be another throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins. And, Joe, the Dolphins have been pressing and pressing and pressing. They're finally able to break through with the first goal of the afternoon.
They have, and a well-deserved goal for the Dolphins, who have really controlled the last 30 minutes or so of play, the last 15 minutes of the first half and the first 15 minutes of this second half. And they were just awarded a free kick once again moments ago, and that free kick setup was a mirror image of the prior setup that resulted in the goal. As you get a look at the corner kick tally, Dolphins with 7 corner kicks to only 1 for the Lightning, as this one travels into the penalty area and is headed up in the air and away.
Yeah, so the Dolphins continue to press forward, and now Perillo once again skying that ball up high. Aparicio flying in toward the far post, looking for that ball, but instead it'll be Grits to come out and make the play for the Lightning. So the Dolphins break through here early in this second half with a goal inside of the first 15 minutes, and they're looking for more as it's Sandor. Sandor able to break her way past one Lightning defender. Sandor looking to turn over. That pass is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be another throw-in for the Dolphins, who continue their territorial dominance here in the second half, Joe.
They have, and the Dolphins have exerted pressure on the Lightning on their attack from the end of the first half, the last 15 minutes, as I just said, through the first 15 minutes plus now of this second half. Lehman College hasn't had a quality chance in this game at all. They have 1 shot on goal. It came very early, and it was a weak shot on goal from a long ways away, and the Dolphins now moving forward into the final third of the field once again, threatening attacking position.
That's Bornstad with the shot, and that goes just wide past the near post. So Brittany puts that one just wide, and it'll be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Lightning.
And Rebecca Grits now facing shots often here toward goal and on goal. The shots on goal total to the Dolphins now at 5, and they'll look to add to it right here as Bornstad volleys one up in the air toward the corner.
Yeah, and that one will be played out of bounds, so it'll be the Lightning with possession of the ball as the Dolphins continue to put a lot of pressure on this Lehman College team and really have kept them penned up in their defensive side here for the entire second half. They've gotten the only goal of the game as Lisbeth Aparicio was able to play in the free kick by Adriana Perillo and score the lone Dolphin goal, and they lead 1-0, and they're looking for more in this second half. Barreto playing it forward. DiStefano there to head the ball back, and it's going to be played now by Sarah Rula, and here come the Lightning looking to counterattack. Pamela Sanchez throwing that ball out on the far side. Lightning trying to break forward. Instead, it's going to be DiStefano to knock the ball away. Collision in midfield once again, and now once again it's going to be LaPointe. Or Lauren Smith, I should say, chipping that one towards goal, and that will go wide. So it'll be a free kick opportunity. So the Dolphins try to take advantage of the Grits coming out of net as we have an opportunity to look at that goal once again, Joe.
And that's the free kick taken by Perillo. Both the goalkeeper, Grits, and I believe that was Nicole Mignon, came close to making contact with that ball in air. I'm not sure which one it was that ultimately did make contact with it, but it found the foot of Elizabeth Aparicio. And I should say the Dolphins now have begun firing shots toward goal much more often, as prior to a look at that free kick taken by Perillo that resulted in the goal. We got to look at a shot by Brittany Bornstad, and just moments ago, Lauren Smith fired one towards goal as the referee has stopped the clock. But I think the Dolphins have the right idea, firing shots on goal if they get squared up with the net in a good scoring position. The Dolphins have been quick to shoot here in the second half, and I think that will play to their advantage as, once again, a free kick setup in that same spot on the right side of the box, once again just outside the right side of the penalty area, I should say. And it's Adriana Perillo lined up over the ball again. The Dolphins undoubtedly now will get another opportunity to put a goal on the scoreboard here.
So Perillo will take that free kick. I thought that was a tough foul called against the Lightning on the play. So let's see if the Dolphins could take advantage as Perillo will take that free kick for the Dolphins. She has the assist on the lone Dolphin goal here earlier in the second half. Perillo chipping that one toward the top of the net, but it'll be over the top and out of play, and it'll be a free kick opportunity here coming up for the Lightning. And, you know, Joe, if you're Lehman, you got to find a way to get yourself a little bit more possession time and try to find a way to get a little more offense here in the second half.
possession time often comes before shots. You can get a quick counter attack once in a while that results in a shot, but more often than not, you need to possess the ball and move it up the field in order to get shots, and the Lightning simply haven't been able to do that as they stifled the Dolphins around midfield in the first half until that last 15 minutes, and now it's the Dolphins who are stifling the Lightning, not allowing them to advance beyond midfield here in this second half. I'm not sure the Lightning have possessed the ball beyond the midfield stripe yet in half number 2.
So Perillo will throw the ball in here for the Dolphins. Mendez looking to play the ball. Instead, it's going to be headed out, a 50-50 ball. And now it'll be Angule to come away with the ball for the Lightning. Instead, DiStefano there to play the ball away. And, you know, Joe, you go back to that first half, and it really was a couple of changes in midfield that really changed the Dolphins' fortune here this afternoon, and they haven't looked back. They've put a lot of pressure on the Lightning and looking to get that big second goal as they lead here by a score of 1-0 as Perillo looks to center that ball. Instead, Pamela Sanchez will be there to head the ball away. That ball will bounce past a couple of players, but the Dolphins there to clear it and play it to Mendez. Now it's Lawrence Smith. Smith playing it to Sandor. Sandor, a beautiful chip inside to Mignon. She's crashed it too hard, but nothing called. And now it'll be Barreto to come up the near side. Barreto in the center of the field as the Lightning try to get an offensive attack going. Barreto looking to work against Mendez. Barreto able to get past a couple of Dolphin defenders and play that ball in toward the front. And now it's going to bounce clear as Daisy Gomez looking to break inside. She's knocked down. The ball will go out of bounds, and it's going to be a corner kick opportunity for the Lightning, Joe. That by far was their best offensive play here in the second half.
And they not only moved the ball beyond midfield, they moved it down quickly into the final third of the field as Victoria Sanchez enters for the Dolphins, replacing Kiara Meza-Mendez. But looks like it will be a corner kick upcoming for Lehman College now, which will give them easily their best opportunity of the second half, and this their longest possession of the second half.
Yeah, so the Lightning are going to take a short corner kick, and they're going to play the ball back and look to chip the ball into the center of the penalty area. Mulligan chips the ball away, but she can't clear it as that's Guadia Sanchez coming up for a rare time here this afternoon for the Lightning. Perillo forced to knock the ball out of bounds, so it'll be a throw-in here for Lehman.
And Lehman looked to make that corner kick a bit shorter by rolling the ball in softly and then passing it back over to the corner kick taker, Sanchez. But she shanked that ball. It didn't travel very far, and it looks like another corner kick taken by the Lightning as that's volleyed up in the air. Throw-in, excuse me.
And the Victoria Sanchez will play the ball for the Dolphins, but she'll knock it out of bounds. So the Lightning trying to press forward, Joe, and try to turn the possession around a little bit.
And they'd love to spend some more time in this half of the field as if they've had their backs against their own goal for the majority of this second half. The Dolphins have done a great job controlling possession and making it threatening possession time at that.
Now it's the Lightning looking threatening as it's Barreto. Barreto looking to roll that ball in front, but it's going to be played out of bounds by Aparicio, and it'll be another throw-in here for the Dolphins as the Lightning have pinned up the Dolphins their last couple of possessions. Cerrulo with the ball, rolling it out over to Barreto. Dolphins able to knock the ball away, but not out, as Barreto looks to head that one and keep it in play. It bounces down to Mulligan, but she's going to be forced to knock it out of bounds once again. And the Dolphins are going to substitute at the next opportunity, but it'll be the Lightning with the throw-in as they look to play that ball in toward the Dolphin penalty area, and instead it's going to be headed away by Lawrence Smith, but she can't clear as Pamela Sanchez is able to keep the ball in play, but now it's going to be DiStefano. Dolphins get called for the foul, and now it'll be an opportunity, Joe, for the Lightning to play the ball into the Dolphin penalty area.
And we're headed back the other way once again, and in more cases than not here in this last sequence of Lightning possession, the Dolphins have been forced to clear the ball over the sideline rather than back towards midfield. So that's kept the ball on this side of midfield, the left side of midfield. Free kick now for Lehman College.
Gudia Sanchez will take that free kick as she's going to sky that one in towards goal, and it's going to be headed and knocked away just wide. What an opportunity there for the Lightning, Joe. You saw a lot of open net, but they couldn't put it in. Free kick coming up for the Dolphins.
And that is easily and by far the best opportunity of the game for Lehman College. I'm not sure if Dolphins goalkeeper Kayla DiBenedetto got a hand on that one, but there was a Lightning player crashing in towards goal who got a head on it. I believe it was Melanie Cirinola. And here's another look at that free kick taken into the penalty area. And it was Cirinola who got a head on that one. It went just wide. Impossible to tell from that angle if DiBenedetto got a hand on it. She very well may have.
I think she did, Joe.
And that's a huge save if she did. Otherwise, a big break for the Dolphins if that traveled wide. But I think more likely than not, you're right, Mike. DiBenedetto probably did get a hand on it. A huge save by the Dolphins goalkeeper keeps this a 1-0 game.
So DiBenedetto comes up big for the Dolphins as it's Aparicio rolling it back to DeLoya. But once again, the Dolphins cannot clear as that's Kerr with the steal. And now the Dolphins forced to clear the ball up down over the far sideline. Just over 21 minutes here remaining in the game. The Dolphins with the lone goal of the game, Lisbeth Aparicio, as we're going to have a whistle, and I believe that's going to be a handball on the Dolphins, so it'll be another free kick opportunity as we have another look, Joe. As that ball gets played into the box and headed towards goal. I think DiBenedetto got a hand on it, and then the Lightning had an open shot toward the near post, but unable to get it inside the post. So now another free kick for the Lightning coming up is Sanchez to take it once again. She plays it toward the top of the penalty area, and the Dolphins able to clear the ball away, but once again, not out. Kerr playing it down the far sideline. Now Mignon looking forward to come up and try to clear it. Mignon fighting Sanchez for possession, and the ball's going to be rolled up and played now by Pamela Sanchez. Sanchez, nice move down the far sideline. Sanchez breaking past a couple of Dolphin defenders, but the Dolphins able to knock it out of bounds once again. But, Joe, the Lightning continue to press forward.
And with that last look at the header on goal, it was clear that DiBenedetto did indeed get a hand on that ball, so credit her with the save for sure. And not to be overlooked there also is off of that save, there was a Lightning player who came in along the post on the left side of goal and had a chance to put that one back in, but just a stride late as that shot attempt toward goal was wide and really no angle to put that ball in as the player got there with just not enough time to turn and fire it toward goal. Perhaps could have put it in front of difficult play either way. So the Dolphins get a great save from DiBenedetto and then dodge a bullet on the rebound. They now have a throw-in looking to get play back onto the attacking half of the field.
So that's Mignon's pass is going to be knocked away, and now the Dolphins look to break across midfield, and that's going to be Lapointe. Lapointe looking for Sanchez. That pass goes a little bit behind her as Sanchez and Barreto will go for the ball along the near sideline. It'll be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in coming up here for the Lightning. So the Lightning have to move back a little bit as Noguez will throw the ball in here for Lehman College as they start to press forward, trying to get the equalizer here as Perello gets the ball up over to Sanchez for the Dolphins. Sanchez getting knocked down on the play. Daniela Castro will get called for the foul, and it'll be a free kick for the Dolphins. And another opportunity here for the Dolphins and Adriana Perello. Let's see if she tries to put that one up toward the top of the net. As she chips that one in towards goal, it's going to be headed up in the air. DiStefano going for the ball. The ball bounces down now onto the foot of Bordstad, but her shot is going to go up high over the top of the net, and it'll be a free kick here for the Lightning.
The Dolphins have had quite a few free kicks here in the second half. At the end of the first half, as well had that free kick that resulted in the Perello shot off the post, but the Dolphins have really made the most of their free kick opportunities. That one ignited a frenzy in front of the goal. Ball volleyed up a pair of times before Bornstad fired a shot over the top of the net. The Dolphins now regain possession quickly before it's cleared over the sideline by the Lightning.
Perello tried to play it in bounds. The Lightning will play it out over the near sideline, and it'll be Perello to come up and throw the ball in for the Dolphins. Noguez will head that ball out of bounds, and Perello will now get to move up about 15 yards or so and throw it in once again for the Dolphins. Now LaPointe will step up and throw the ball in for the Dolphins. Out along the near sidelines. As she gets that ball in, looking to get the ball to Mignon. Instead, it's going to bounce down and be played there by Castro. Castro up over to Daisy Gomez. Gomez now playing the ball into the center of the field, back to Castro. And now it's Mulligan to step up and knock the ball back towards the Lightning defensive end. Mignon looking to keep the ball in play, but she'll be unable to do so, and it'll be a free kick opportunity here coming up for Lehman College. Following this game, the men will take on the men's Lehman College team will face John Jay in the 2017 CUNYAC Men's Championship. The Lightning advancing to the semifinals by defeating the men's College of Staten Island team 3-2. A game the Dolphins fell behind in 2-0, came back to tie it at 2, and lost with a goal with just over 6 minutes remaining in the game as the Dolphins looking for their first CUNYAC championship since 1998, Joe, but 2017 won't be the year.
And it's unfortunate to see them come up short. They lost to the Lightning a pair of times in the final month, both in the regular season and, of course, in that CUNYAC tournament matchup. A 1-0 loss here earlier this year during the regular season, another one-goal loss in the CUNYAC tournament, but the men's program looking up as well, and that was a very close game. No reason why the men couldn't have won it. They'll have another shot next year.
Perello looking to play that ball forward. It bounces off a Lightning defender onto the foot of Lawrence Smith. Smith getting it to Mignon. Mignon looking to break through, but instead the Lightning able to knock it away, and now Bornstead will put that shot towards goal, but it'll be wide past the far post and out of bounds, and another free kick opportunity here coming up for the Lightning. But first we're going to have a substitution for the Dolphins.
And it's Natalia Sandor entering for CSI, replacing Nicole Mignon as the clock ticks down towards 15 minutes remaining in this game. Dolphins still lead 1-0 here in the second half.
Mignon, the leading goal scorer for the Dolphins, checks out as Sandor checks in as we have a collision in midfield, as DiStefano clashes with Melanie Serarula, and Serarula will get called for the foul. And the Dolphins will have an opportunity for another free kick here, as Perillo's been very busy, Joe, with the free kicks, the corner kicks, and the throw-ins here in the second half.
She's been busy, but a big part of that is, as I said before, the Dolphins have been awarded a large number of free kicks here in the second half. A lot of fouls committed by the Lightning, especially in the final third of the field.
Perello looking to chip that ball in the box. It bounces. It goes past Grist. And there to put the ball in the net for the second time this afternoon is Lisbeth Aparicio. And the College of Staten Island takes a 2-0 lead.
And Aparicio with her second goal of this game, her fourth goal of 2017 against Lehman College. So Lisbeth Aparicio coming up huge for the Dolphins here in this game and in this season against Lehman College. Aparicio entered play today with 3 goals. Add 2 more to that total. Goals number 4 and 5 on the season for Aparicio in this game. Her 3rd and 4th against Lehman College. The Dolphins' second goal of this game gives them a 2-0 lead.
And with just over 14 minutes and 29 seconds remaining, the Dolphins take a 2-0 lead. As Sandor looking to break in, as we're going to look to get you a replay of the goal here in just a minute, as the Dolphins take a 2-0 lead, as, you know, once again, Joe, Dolphins able to take advantage and get at Lisbeth Aparicio their second goal of the afternoon, and they lead 2-0 on the Aparicio goal here in the 76th minute, as the Lightning look to break the ball up the far sidelines. And, Joe, the Lightning need offense quickly, as we have an opportunity to take a look at the goal. It's Perello who takes the free kick opportunity here coming up for the Dolphins. So Adriana steps up on the ball and plays it in toward the center of the box. And, you know, it looks like it just bounced off of Grist and into the net. And, you know, I would think that might be an unassisted goal. It went from Perello off of Grist into the net. So Aparicio gets her second goal of the game. And what a big goal, Joe, for the Dolphins.
And a huge goal for the Dolphins in this game. The Lightning were only a single Dolphins mistake away, or a big play of their own away from tying this game now. now a 2-goal deficit faced by Lehman College. And given the way this game's gone thus far for the Lightning, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to get back in it. They need at least one to get this back down to a 1-goal deficit, but we saw CCNY do that. Things weren't going well for the Beavers in the semifinals matchup. They picked up a late goal and made it a game right at about this time. With about 13 minutes remaining in the game, they scored that goal, which cut the deficit to 1, and the Lightning will be looking for a similar goal here to cut the Dolphins' lead in half. We'll see if they can pick it up, but the Dolphins still continuing to maintain possession in the final third of the field.
Yeah, and, that ball got played into the center of the penalty area, and it looked, Joe, like Jits might be able to grab it, but there was a lot of congestion there out in front, and the ball found its way to Aparicio, and boy, has Aparicio been a lightning killer, Joe, all season long.
She's been huge for the Dolphins in this game and against the Lightning so far this season, no doubt, but just going back to that goal for a moment, a pair of Dolphins players converged on Grits as she attempted to grab that ball, and I think that made it an infinitely more difficult play for her as the Dolphins were attempting to get a shot by Grits, 2 Dolphins, before the ball ricocheted off of those 3 players, the 2 Dolphins and Grits, ultimately finding the foot of Aparicio, who put it into the back of the net for a second goal of this game. So an unfortunate break a bit for Grits, who was really in a difficult position to clear that ball out of danger, the beneficiary, Aparicio.
Yeah, and, Joe, we mentioned throughout the start of the second half that, Lehman was just committing too many fouls and giving the Dolphins too many opportunities to play that ball in the box, and really, it was 2 free kicks, Joe, that led to both Dolphin goals.
And I think what it's come down to for the Lightning in this game is they haven't forced Kelly DiBenedetto to make more than that one save here in the second half. I spoke about it before the game. They were going to need to put some shots toward goal and ultimately on goal to have an opportunity to win this while limiting the Dolphins, and they simply haven't been able to do either of those things here in the second half.
After we have another opportunity, you look at the goal and you see Pirello chipping that ball in front, and there were 3 players converging on the ball, and it found its way through to Aparicio. And, for the second time, Joe, she made no mistake and buried it in the back of the net.
And it looked like Bornstad and Smith who converged on Grits there, and the ball ultimately ricocheted away onto the foot of Aparicio, who scored the goal. So that last look at it gives us a better idea of exactly what happened in terms of the players converging on Grits. As before, we were simply looking to ensure it was Aparicio who scored the goal. She did. Her second of the game, 4th this season against the Lightning. Very impressive numbers, both the 2-goal game and the 4 goals against a single opponent in 2017.
So the Lightning tried to play the ball onto the Dolphin side of the field, but once again they're frustrated, but now it's a turnover by LaPointe. LaPointe getting the ball up over to Sarah Rula. Sarah Rula looking for Barreto. Barreto fighting for possession of the ball with Mulligan. As the 2 players collide, and the ball will go out of bounds, and it will be a free kick for the Dolphins. So Mulligan and Barreto went at that ball, Joe, and the Dolphins come away with the free kick.
And Mulligan frustrated Barreto nicely there. As you saw Barreto give her a bit of a shove after that ball traveled over the touchline, but clean play there. Good defense from Mulligan, not allowing Barreto any angle to get that ball back towards the field of play. It traveled over the touchline, but the Lightning have regained possession and fire one towards goal, but wide.
That's Pamela Sanchez firing that one towards goal, and that will go wide. And it's going to be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins, as the Dolphins will have another substitution here, Joe, in the second half.
And it will be number 14, Diana Estrada, checking in for the Dolphins, replacing Victoria Sanchez. So Estrada will get in for what I assume will be the final 9 minutes of this game here in the second half, and by that I mean she will remain in for the final 9 minutes of regulation. Of course, no assumptions yet about the result, but the Dolphins appear to be in a very good position to come away with this victory, up 2-0 against a team that has really struggled to find shots throughout the entirety of this game.
Yeah, and Sanchez comes out for the Dolphins, Joe. She got a little dinged up in the first half and comes off limping a little bit, so the Dolphins substitute her out as once again Dolphins looking to break their way inside, and ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be another throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins. Pirello skying that one high up toward the center of the penalty area. And Sanchez or actually that ball's going to be headed out of bounds, and there'll be another corner kick here coming up, Joe, for the Dolphins.
And you mentioned a moment ago Victoria Sanchez limping off. If I recall correctly, she did leave the semifinals matchup with an injury. You have to wonder if that's what's bothering her here in this game, as we've noticed the limp on a couple of occasions.
As Perello with the corner kick, the ball bounces through the penalty area, but the Lightning are able to sky the ball out and clear it. Mulligan now rolling it back in. She's looking to get the ball to Perello. Castro now playing it up to Barreto. As the Lightning look to build up the counterattack, instead it'll be Aparicio to take the ball away for the Dolphins. Aparicio playing it over toward the far sidelines where Herrera plays it for the Lightning. Herrera's pass is going to be knocked away and played by Estrada now to Perello. Perello once again looking to put that one towards goal, but Grits will be there to play it as the clock continues to wind down under 7.5 minutes remaining here in the second half. Wind starting to pick up a little bit here at the CSI Soccer Complex as LaPointe gets that ball up over to Bornstad. Now it's LaPointe. LaPointe skying that one in towards the Lightning penalty area, but it'll be Sanchez to play the ball away for Lehman. Sanchez playing the ball forward to Gomez. But now Perello's pass is going to be stolen away by Sarah Rula. Sarah Rula looking to break her way in toward the penalty area. Working against Aparicio, she turns and tries to center it, but Perello makes an offensive play to clear it up the near sidelines to Estrada. Now LaPointe in the back. As his possession, Sandor will get called for the foul, and it'll be a free kick opportunity here coming up for the Lightning.
And with just under 6.5 minutes to go, it's just about that time, now or never, for the Lightning. They need to make something of this next attacking possession. Otherwise, it's going to be nearly impossible for them to come back and win this game, picking up the 2 goals necessary. We spoke about the wind picking up to put this ball down around the penalty area. Perhaps they could college off the head of Lightning player, and then it just trickled by everyone well wide of
5 minutes remain. And it'll be another throw-in for the Dolphins in here. 4.5 lead.
You can't ask to be in a much better position if you're CSI, the same position they found themselves in last time they took on the Lightning during the regular season. They won that game 2-0 and appear to be on their way to a victory here in this CUNYAC championship game. Perhaps they may look to add to their lead here.
So here come the Dolphins once again as LaPointe loses possession, and the Lightning able to come away with the ball as that's Sanchez. Sanchez playing the ball up over to Barreto. Barreto looking to get the ball back to Sanchez. Sanchez, the back line of the Lightning defense, Joe, coming up and trying to attack forward here as the Lightning find themselves running out of time as we have 3 minutes and 55 seconds remaining here in this second half. Sandor rolls it out to Estrada. Nice pass to LaPointe, back to Estrada. Estrada thought LaPointe was going to move forward. She didn't. Then Pamela Sanchez comes away with the ball for the Lightning. But her breakout pass is going to be shanked and out of bounds, and it'll be another throw-in here for the Dolphins, Joe, as it really starts to get late for the Lightning.
And that last attempt at a counterattack by the Lightning was critical to their chances here in this game. Now the Dolphins have the ball in the final third, can chew some more of the clock as Lauren Smith takes that ball right off the head. The referee has stopped the clock with 3:20 remaining, and Smith is down as it looks like the Dolphins will be making another substitution. Conchetta Perito getting set to check in for CSI at the next opportunity, and the trainer will indeed attend to Lauren Smith down just inside the penalty area.
Yeah, so Smith down on the pitch for the Dolphins with just 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, and getting very late, as we mentioned, Joe, for the Dolphins. And the Dolphins looking for their 3rd consecutive CUNYAC championship and are just 3 minutes and 20 seconds away as we have an opportunity now to look at Perello chip that one in towards the goal, and you could see that Aparicio put that one in for the first goal, Joe, and that really opened things up for the Dolphins, and, you know, they really haven't looked back since then.
Nope, they haven't, as we'll get a look now at goal number 2 for the Dolphins as well. Once again, it's Elizabeth Aparicio finding the back of the net for the Dolphins. The free kick again taken by Adriana Perello. A pair of Dolphins converge on Rebecca Gritz, and she got lost in the crowd there as one of her own players were in the area as well. Aparicio comes screaming in and puts it in to the back of the net, giving the Dolphins a 2-0 lead, and it looks like we're about set to resume play here as the throw-in for the Lightning will get the clock started, ticking down from 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in this Women's CUNYAC Championship match.
So Lauren Smith will check out of the game. Conchetta Perito will check in for the Dolphins, as now it's Perello with the ball. Perello looking to play the ball forward. It bounces past a couple of players. Russo looks to play it for the Dolphins. Instead, it's Estrada. Estrada's pass is going to be knocked away, but that time tripping over the ball is Castro, and now it's DiStefano for the Dolphins. Estrada to LaPointe. LaPointe with a little bit of space along the near side. LaPointe breaks into the box. She chips it in front, and Gritz is there to make the play in front of a charging Caitlin Russo. Nice play by LaPointe. Nice play by Gritz in goal. As we're going to have a whistle and a foul committed on the Lightning, as the Lightning have to play quickly now. And Sanchez will come up to take the free kick for Lehman. Sanchez skying that ball up high. Played up in the air now by Gomez. Kerr trying to maintain possession for the Lightning, but our pass forward is going to be knocked away by Sandor. Now the Lightning trying to play the ball forward, but instead it's going to be Aparicio stepping forward for the Lightning. Lisbeth Aparicio with 2 goals this afternoon, her 4th and 5th of the year. 4 of her 5 goals against Lehman College, and they've been the difference here as the Dolphins lead by a score of 2-0, and we're under 1:50 remaining here in the second half. Lightning trying to break through, but Perello knocks the ball up towards midfield as the ball is bounced back and played by Sanchez. Russo went for possession of the ball, but instead it's going to be Barreto. Barreto's pass into the center is knocked away by DiStefano. Brianna, another player that's played very well for the Dolphins since checking in to the game in the first half. Now it's Sanchez. Sanchez playing the ball back into the center of the field onto the foot of Gomez. And now the Lightning look to attack offensively with Pamela Sanchez. Sanchez looking to work against the lawyer, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Lightning as the clock continues to wind down, just over a minute remaining.
We mentioned during the pregame, Mike, the Dolphins getting contributions from their back line, not only defensively, but on the attack as well. And Elizabeth Aparicio is a testament to that. A pair of goals in this game. As you mentioned, a huge game for Aparicio. And it looks like the Dolphins will indeed close this one out with a 2-0 victory as the clock ticks down. Under 45 seconds to go here in the second half. The Dolphins on their way to picking up their 3rd consecutive CUNYAC Women's Soccer Championship.
So the throw-in will be, or the free kick, I should say, will be for the Lightning as they sky that one toward the penalty area. And DiStefano is there to knock it down, and Sandor will play it back up towards midfield where Estrada looks to run onto the ball. Estrada chipping that one towards goal, and Gritz is there to play it on a hop and knock the ball away, and now she'll roll it out over the near side. So Estrada puts that shot on goal, and now it's LaPointe stepping forward to steal that ball away in the final 10 seconds. Ball's going to be played up the far sideline. It's going to roll out of bounds, and that's going to do it. The College of Staten Island, for the 3rd consecutive time and the 8th time in 13 years, wins the CUNYAC Championship as they go on to defeat Lehman College by a final score of 2-0.
And a well-deserved win for the College of Staten Island in this Women's CUNYAC Championship matchup. The Dolphins, late in the first half, really did a good job of seizing control of this game, began to fire shots toward goal. Unfortunately, their 2 best shots of that first half off the crossbar and off the post, but they made no mistakes in the second half. Mike, Lisbeth Aparicio did a great job for CSI, really filling the lane along the far post, both on a free kick taken by Adriana Perello and then off of a free kick by Perello as well. The play seemed to break down. 2 Dolphins converged on the Lightning goalkeeper, Rebecca Gritz. The ball ricocheted away onto the foot of Aparicio along the far post. She put it into the back of the net, giving the Dolphins a 2-0 lead. From there, they wouldn't look back. A great effort by the Dolphins in this game, especially from the final 15 minutes of the first half forward. The Lightning came out strong, really limiting the Dolphins' opportunities, but they wore them down, and the Dolphins ultimately broke through for a pair of goals, and that was enough to secure their third consecutive CUNYAC championship.
Yeah, so head coach Giuseppe Panetti has been here for 3 years. He's won the CUNYAC championship all 3 years, and the Dolphins will get another automatic bid to the NCAA Division III tournament, and hopefully they'll draw somebody other than Messiah in round number 1 this year. But, you know, Joe, it comes back to the same thing we were talking about in the pregame show. All year long, the Dolphins have only allowed 3 goals in conference play, all 3 goals to CCNY, and they keep the streak going this afternoon. And, you know, the one truism in soccer, if you don't allow a goal, you're never going to lose.
Absolutely right, Mike, and I spoke about it before. If the Dolphins could just keep that stat holding true, only allowing a goal to CCNY inside of the conference, they would come away CUNYAC champions. The Dolphins did exactly what they needed to do in this game. Very few opportunities for Lehman College. The Dolphins with more than enough opportunities of their own to come away with the victory, as they will now celebrate their third consecutive CUNYAC championship as the team gathers around midfield to be presented with the CUNYAC Women's Soccer Championship trophy. But we spoke about it in the pregame as well, Mike. Contributions from top to bottom on this roster. A great job by every player who got out onto the pitch for the Dolphins here in this game. And we also saw the game really begin to turn with the entry of substitutions as well in the first half. And then in the second half, those substitutes remained in the game for the early portion of half number 2. The Dolphins carried that momentum they had built from the first half into the second, ultimately picking up a pair of goals and winning this game 2-0.
You know, Joe, and, you know, we mentioned throughout the first half that the Lightning had done a really good job. They had clogged up the midfield and really prevented the Dolphins from putting any kind of offensive attack together. They couldn't get their passing together, and the Lightning really did a good job of clogging everything up. But, you know, I really thought it was the substitutions of head coach Giuseppe Panetti in that first half, bringing in LaPointe, bringing in DiStefano, bringing in Zappolo, and I thought those plays really helped turn things around in that first half, and the Dolphins really dominated through the end of that first half. A couple of shots off the post. They couldn't get one into the net, but they turned things around, and then as they got into the second half, they were able to strike gold. Elizabeth Aparicio in the 59th minute picked up her first goal of the game, and then in the 76th minute, she picks up the second. Adriana Perello accredited with assists on both of those goals, and really a nice job by the Dolphins, who came out, played a very strong game this afternoon, and advanced to the NCAA tournament for the third consecutive year.
And what the Lightning did very well in the first half is really slow the Dolphins down in and around the midfield area. Didn't allow the Dolphins to get out on the attack and move forward. In the second half, the Dolphins did that extremely well. They really stifled the Lightning for nearly the entirety of the second half. The Lightning really only had one good opportunity and a great save in goal by Kayla DiBenedetto for the Dolphins, who really came up big in this CUNYAC tournament. We mentioned a save in the first game she made. That was huge for CSI in that game. Here in the second game as well, she came up big, and it looks like we'll be joined by CSI women's soccer head coach Giuseppe Panetti. So I'll hand over my headset to Giuseppe, and he'll talk with Mike about this CUNYAC championship match.
Coach, thanks for stepping by. We'll just keep you for a minute. First of all, congratulations on your third consecutive CUNYAC championship.
I thank everyone. I thank the ladies. They deserve all the credit. I thank my coaching staff. I have a great team that wants to play hard and win. I have a great coaching staff that helps me out. And to be honest, we have a great athletic department. I tell everyone, when there's a victory, everyone is a key part, no matter how many minutes you play or don't play. And no matter what your title is, it takes everyone from Allison, the trainer, to you guys announcing, to Charles. You know, we always thank Charles for all the effort he does, and we thank the whole team for everything they put in.
Coach, I thought the Lightning did a great job early in the first half, really clogging up the midfield, and I thought really the turning point in the game was a couple of substitutions. I thought Stephanie LaPointe played probably her best game of the year here this afternoon, and Daniela Zappolo also came in that first half, and it really helped to turn things around.
Yes, we have such a deep bench, and I always tell my ladies, we're like about 22 starters deep. And it's great as a coach when you can just unleash sub after sub and the quality doesn't dip. And for us, we actually play that style knowing I'm going to leave everything on the field and my subs coming in, they might get the glory of the goal, but it's because I worked hard for that 20 minutes that she was able to score.
Coach, go out and celebrate with your team. Congratulations, and we'll see where we're headed in the Division III NCAA tournament for the third consecutive year.
I thank everyone. This year we're looking to finally get over the hump and win an NCAA match. Everyone have a good one. Thank you.
And that's head coach Giuseppe Panetti, nice enough to take time out from his celebration to join us here on CSI Sportsnet as the Dolphins win their third consecutive CUNYAC championship. And, this is what they've been building up for all year long. And, the game got big, and the Dolphins came up big here this afternoon.
They absolutely did. As we get a look at the final stats from this CUNYAC Women's Championship matchup, the final score, of course, the Dolphins 2 and the Lightning nothing. The Dolphins outshot Lehman College 18-2. Those two shots for the Lightning, a stark contrast to what we saw from them in their semifinals matchup with the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. 13 shots for Lehman College in that game, 12 on goal. They simply couldn't replicate that effort against a stifling Dolphins defense here today. Goalkeeper for the Lightning, Rebecca Gritz, forced to make 5 saves. She faced a lot more pressure than that number would indicate. However, a lot of it coming late in the first half and then throughout the entirety of the second half. So a huge game for the Dolphins on the attack. Really came, as I said, in the second half, late in the first half. The Dolphins turned up the pressure, and Mike, the Lightning really seemed to wear out after exerting a lot of pressure in and around the midfield on the Dolphins in the first half. They simply couldn't keep that up throughout the entire game.
Yeah, and Joe, you look at the CSI Dolphin team, and they had all that turnover from last year's squad. A new player in goal in Kayla DiBenedetto, losing their leading scorers, but they've really come out and really played extremely well, and went through the semifinals and the finals, just allowing 1 goal and coming up with a big 2-0 win here this afternoon. And now for the Dolphins, it's wait until Monday and find out who they're going to play in the Division III NCAA tournament.
And drawing for the NCAA Division III tournament is always exciting. Of course, we'd love to see the Dolphins pick up a victory in the NCAA tournament. They played extremely well in the CUNYAC, but a win in the NCAA tournament, easier said than done. Of course, we'd love to see them go as far as they can, but for the Dolphins here at the CUNYAC tournament, a tremendous finish to another very strong season. They will face roster turnover again next year, perhaps not as great of a turnover as they did this year, though. Pair of players on the back line, seniors Caitlin Russo and Adriana Perello, playing in their final game here at the CSI Soccer Complex today. And fortunately, they get to go out here with a CUNYAC championship win here at home. And for the Dolphins now, they move on to the NCAA Division III tournament, awaiting to find out who their opening round opponent will be.
Yeah, and a very exciting time here for this women's soccer team. And this has been the 13th tournament, Joe, and Dolphins have won it 8 times.
And they've done a great job in CUNYAC tournament play. And we mentioned the exceptional job they did against the CUNYAC conference this year, and that seems to be a theme under head coach Giuseppe Panetti. Really, I don't want to use the word dominance lightly, but it's been a very strong stretch of 3 seasons in CUNYAC conference play for the Dolphins, and that culminates here with a CUNYAC championship for the 3rd consecutive year. And it's a little bit early to look forward to next year and hope for the same, but given what the Dolphins have done the past 3 seasons, I don't think it's a stretch to look into next year and say that we're shooting for another CUNYAC championship once again, looking to make it 4 in a row.
Yeah, and the Dolphins out at the center of the field as they get ready to receive their championship ribbons and their championship hats. And, Joe, the Dolphins undefeated in conference play. They just had that 1 tie against CCNY on the road, and they played well defensively and offensively this year. They scored 50 goals and find themselves in position to go into the NCAA tournament for the 3rd consecutive year. And, again, looking for that breakthrough tournament win this year.
Of course they are, and you mentioned the Dolphins scoring 50 goals this year. Picking up numbers 49 and 50 in this game was Elizabeth Aparicio, and The Dolphins, again, with a tremendous effort here in this CUNYAC Tournament Championship. It was a great 2017 season, and it concludes with a well-deserved championship.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the CSI Soccer Complex as the College of Staten Island wins their third consecutive CUNYAC championship as they defeat Lehman College by a final score of 2-0. So for Joe Foreman and our engineer Arthur Kapatanakis, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to tune in Monday afternoon, and we'll have for you on CSI Sportsnet and CSIDolphins.com where the Dolphins will travel for their NCAA tournament. So have a great afternoon, everybody. Once again, the final score, the College of Staten Island defeats Lehman College by a final score of 2-0. Have a great afternoon, everybody.